PSA.com. Paid for by Estella's Pharma.
Hey, Ma, I've been meaning to talk to you about some new COVID information I saw online.
Uh-huh.
I read that Black folks like us with certain conditions like diabetes, heart disease, mental health conditions, or being 50 and older, like you, are at high risk.
Boy, you sound like a commercial.
I'm just saying. I know you love your ginger teas and essential oils, but remember, there are treatment options for COVID-19.
I promise if I get sick again, I'll call my doctor to ask about my options.
Crossover. Oh, killer crossover. Just crossover. It just crossed him over nastily.
Another victim to the crossovers. Cross him up and sit him down.
It's time for the crossover, powered by Everlevel Concrete Repair in Omaha at everlevelconcrete.com.
Ooh,
You're all right. You got a game coming up.
Yeah, you better get some of the throat coat.
I was good yesterday.
I got some halls. You want them?
I got plenty, but thank you.
All right.
Yeah, he's a broadcaster.
You know what? I didn't realize until this morning when I woke up, and I think I was talking to myself, and I'm like, ooh, that's not good.
Typically, you bring the big bag of red halls. If you're,
you gotta go with the orange halls, the yellow halls.
I've seen you do that
with
before.
the honey coat.
Yeah,
I'm fine.
He's fine.
I'm fine.
He sounded fine.
He's fine.
I mean, I feel okay, but I think this is my weak cold that I got in Vermilion.
A half cold.
It's not. There's no such thing as a half cold.
You either have it or you don't, baby.
No half cold.
It's
no
like
left nostril, right nostril.
It's like the it factor.
You either got it or you don't.
You either got it or you don't.
You couldn't trade it or sell it if you wanted to. You are it, baby.
You either got it or you don't.
Poll question up at Happer Show. Is there such a thing as a half cold?
There you go.
Listen, baby.
Put it up there.
Listen. I'm the dream.
What's going on, guys?
Sorry. I was giving my dusky roads for a second.
Oh, that's what that was.
I didn't catch that either.
No, it's bad. I didn't really get into it. I'm doing great.
All right. I'm
happy. I'm phenomenal. I am happy. I'm a happy man. Why wouldn't I be happy?
I'd be happy if I just let out a huge fart too.
Let's get into it.
I'm happy, man. I live in a great place. I live in a great city. I work at a great station on a
Why
really
do you
fun
say
show.
that so often? It makes me feel like you don't believe that.
You're saying great a lot.
I do. I'm very thankful. People have to understand that, like, yes, I make a lot of jokes and I go back and forth, but I am very thankful to be here.
All right, good.
There you go. I want to put it out.
That sounds like Josh saying Nebraska ball is good.
No, it's not. Like
Same
I just have
vibes.
to. I just have
been good
to
for a
remind
week.
people that I can be a serious individual.
Josh, they've
sometimes.
been playing well for a week.
Yeah,
They have a quad 2 opportunity tonight.
Oh,
They
the
won
quads.
2 games. I don't know that they played well.
Say it, Josh.
Oh my God!
If they win
are
tonight, it's a winning streak.
Yeah.
Yes.
Gentlemen,
I'm
we
excited.
won yesterday, and we won today. And if we win tomorrow,
Boy, it'd be
That's
really
a winning
embarrassing
streak.
if you didn't win at Washington.
No, it wouldn't. Maryland lost there.
What would be more embarrassing? Losing at Providence or losing at Washington? That's right. Maryland lost there.
I think losing at Washington, but I don't think Providence is all that good either. So
Washington is the worst team in the Big Ten right now.
And
They
if you
are.
remember, there's 47 teams in the Big Ten. Right
Many
now.
teams.
There are a lot of teams in the
There are
Big Ten.
It's too many.
Yeah.
You know what? I looked at the. I was reading D1 baseball yesterday, and they've done the projections.
Oh no, really?
17 teams.
Did they do a? Oh, did I see a college baseball bracketology floating around
Oh,
yesterday?
you probably did.
Oh, let's go.
What do
Might
you
be a little
mean?
too soon.
I don't. They haven't pitched.
They haven't thrown a
They haven't
ball.
thrown the baseball.
They haven't swung a bat.
That's like when Lunardi does the bracketology the second the season
Yes.
ends.
Yes.
He's like,
Yeah.
I got my bracketology for next year. up."
That's
It's like,
always hilarious.
okay. All
Nobody
right.
knows who's playing where.
Uh-huh.
and nobody
Somebody
knows
might be
who's on
coaching
their,
somewhere else.
no one knows who's on the teams at that point either.
Correct. Correct. That's exactly right.
But how about this? So Oregon is the favorite. Nebraska's 2. Indiana, Penn State, Michigan. Nebraska doesn't play any of them.
I know. It's
They play
stupid.
Michigan.
That's crazy.
It's so dumb.
Like, you would think the Big Ten would be like, hey, this might be the year Oregon's going to be good. Let's have them play Nebraska.
And then
have them play Indiana.
And then they'll play them all in Omaha when you're on your 9th pitcher.
Yes.
You know, and you're playing your 4th game in 2 days.
Yeah.
I mean,
like-
shouldn't Nebraska be playing all four of the, like for baseball's sake, shouldn't Nebraska be playing all four of the West Coast teams every year because they are geographically the closest to them out of the remaining Midwest schools?
I bet they probably figure, like, what's the difference between flying to Nebraska and flying to Indiana? Same thing.
Well, no, it's not the time zone. It's a different time zone.
Flying to Iowa.
Well, yeah, okay.
Flying
At
to
that,
Minnesota.
at that point, it's a 25-point difference. But there is a big difference between flying to Nebraska and flying
I
to
don't know.
Rutgers or Penn State.
It's all
or any-
flyover country to me. They're all the same.
That's not true. There's a time zone. There's a time difference. There's a start. There's a whole hour.
What's the difference between flying to Indiana than flying to Rutgers then? Is
Okay,
that the same?
but you made a bad comparison of flying from Nebraska to flying to Indiana. There is a difference. There's a whole hour difference. Frankly, I think there's a 2-hour difference because there's another hour that it takes from you to go from Nebraska to Bloomington.
Connor Happer is Rutgers, Indiana.
Rutgers is Indiana. It's the same
Yeah.
thing.
They don't even have long enough runways in Rutgers for planes in LA to land.
Penn State.
Penn State, damn it.
Is
I was rolling for a
Rutgers,
second.
Penn State.
Rutgers is Penn State.
Rutgers is Penn State.
Rutgers is definitely Penn State. Yeah. Penn State doesn't have the airports as we have previously discussed, as many have previously discussed.
Many have talked
But
about
they
it.
also do not have an arena named after a sandwich.
Jersey Mike's.
Oh, man.
Great point.
When does Danny DeVito like just run his course of being annoying? Like,
Have
is
you
he
seen him
just-
lately?
What?
He looks a little haggard.
Aren't you getting?
I mean,
aren't people
he's
getting a
80.
little tired of Danny
Wait.
DeVito?
Yeah, he looks like he played in St. John's versus Marquette last night.
Well, he has.
He's
By the way, he
rough.
has shrunk.
He looks like
Yes.
one. They probably asked Danny DeVito to go out for Marquette and commit a couple fouls. I mean,
But see, now they've taken Danny DeVito out of the stores. He's now in a dorm room.
Back in my day, that building used to be called the Rack, and that was when it was
What do you
great.
mean back in your day? It was like a
Back
couple
in
of
my
years
day,
ago.
and when the amp was the Dunk.
I'm getting sick and tired.
What
of
the
Danny
hell is the amp?
Like that, in terms of marketing,
It's the
the Dunkin' Donuts Center, getting rid of that, not good.
That's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I was just looking. So the last time Creighton won there, it was COVID, and there was 8 people there, and it was on campus. It wasn't even at the Dunk amp.
Remember when they played a game? Oh yeah, because that
So they
was
haven't
the
actually won at the
was that
Dunk.
the Christian Bishop game?
Yes.
Yes.
They haven't actually won at that arena since New Year's Eve 2018.
What's the worst like name transition? The Rack to the Jersey Mike's Arena,
Ooh.
Bad.
or Heinz Field to Acrisure Stadium.
Yeah, it'll always be Heinz to me.
Like if they took away
Or the
the ketchup
stadium
bottle.
that exploded during Dark Knight Rises.
That's right.
Yes.
Mhm.
You think darkness is
People forget that.
I was
Heinz-
born in it.
Did Heinz Ward win anything in that movie?
No.
He should have won an Oscar. That's what he should have
Do
won.
you think that's limiting him from getting to Canton?
Him
His role in that movie?
him with the ball in the end zone,
Interesting.
looking around, and all of his teammates have fallen
Dead.
into a pit.
Yeah,
Man, he
what,
ran,
what a
man.
highlight. Yeah.
Man, I mean, shout out Heinz Ward for surviving that. I mean, he almost lost his life.
I don't know.
mean,
Was he a
that's
good
crazy.
teammate though? Like he probably should have helped his teammate.
Well, he probably
Did they-
felt some guilt afterwards after his teammates had died.
Yeah,
Did they play
survivor's
at Heinz
guilt.
Field the next season after that? After
Mm.
they demolished it in the movie?
I mean,
were the
I
Steelers
imagine it
able to
probably
play?
took time to rebuild.
Yeah. Did
Yeah.
the Steelers have to play somewhere else for a little bit after that movie?
I think because of Pittsburgh is a blue collar town, the citizens came together and they
Yeah.
rebuilt
Rebuilt
the
it.
stadium.
That's
Yeah.
right. After the reign of Bane was over.
We need a 30 for 30 on that. Steelers after Bane. You know what happened?
What? Yeah. Or what were they called in the movie?
Gotham Rogues.
Gotham Rogues.
I don't mean to get technical with everyone.
Yeah.
Dead before they can rise. The story of the Gotham Rogues. There you go.
Did you guys know Hines Ward played a streetwalker in The Walking Dead?
Really?
I'm going to assume that means zombie and not hooker.
I would think so.
Do you know that
I would think so.
Daniel Craig was in a Star Wars movie? Fun fact.
Oh, wow.
He was a stormtrooper in the 7th movie. They were
Wow.
like he's a big Star Wars fan, so he called them and he goes, "I want to be in the movie." And they're like, "Well, we don't really know if we can like make a role." And he goes, "No. I want to be a stormtrooper." And so like, there's a scene where it's like Daniel Craig. It's just the interrogation scene in the movie. That's Daniel Craig just in a stormtrooper outfit.
It's like putting Rogers in what that one show?
Euphoria?
No.
Um,
No, the popular
Ozark?
show that everybody watched.
Tulsa King?
No, the
Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Jinx.
Didn't he show up in that?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so.
Yes, he did.
Can't wait for Jerry Jones to win an Emmy for his role in
Landman.
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 He's gonna win an Emmy.
But he wasn't acting though. That was like his real.
Yeah.
Like Billy Bob Thornton went on a
Glory
show
hole.
where he was dressed, of course, normal, and
And-
he said it was a one take. That Jerry sat down and he just told his story.
Nice.
And like people on the set did not know that that's the real story of how he got the Cowboys.
Wow. And
Yeah.
so they just ripped that off.
Well, they thought they was acting.
Mhm.
Like, and they did it one take, and everybody's like, "Wow, that was great." And then somebody goes, "That's
No, that was real.
that's the story of how
Yeah.
he got the Cowboys."
That's
Isn't
awesome.
that acting though? Isn't acting trying to make it as close to real life as possible? So essentially, if you just don't act, you're the best actor.
That's the idea, I think.
Daniel Day-Lewis. I think that's on his wall.
By the way, TC writes in on YouTube
ITC.
about that game where everyone died. That game literally ended in sudden death.
That's right.
I think it's pretty good. I think it's pretty good. Thank you, TC.
I like it when you like a joke, you turn into Romo. You know, I like it. I think it's a good play. I think it's a good play, Jim. You know, they're gonna stab it here.
Now, would you
Pretty
rather
clever.
deal with those two, specifically Tony Romo in the Super Bowl, or listen to what we're about to have to listen to on Sunday?
I like
that. I mean, the Fox broadcast of the major networks is by far the worst.
Give me
one we
Romo.
have right
You're
now.
not excited for Tommy broadcasting?
I mean, they're saying that he does his best when the lights are on.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's really awesome, Kevin.
Wow.
It's the last game of the season, Kevin. You're fighting for everything. You're fighting for immortality. Okay.
I've been in
KB.
this situation
Now,
a
KB.
time or two,
Yeah.
Kevin.
KB, I can tell you, I played in the Super Bowl. It's awesome.
There's nothing like that first play call, KB. I mean, the nerves are there. I mean, it's the Super Bowl. How can you not have nerves? You have them, but you got to fight through them.
A little tight. That happens.
There's no way. There's no way.
That is going to be said.
Hey, he has gotten better like pre-snap. Now he's had to come a long way, but like once the play happens, we're screwed.
Yeah. That was good. That was good.
But there's no way that they can recoup $375 million
No.
worth of. Like, how would they say, "Oh, because of the ratings"? Like that was worth it.
You got to work them. You got to just work.
You just can't
How
make
can
that
you work
mistake.
it? Because when he's not doing your games, he's running the Raiders, which seems normal.
totally
So,
normal.
are they going to let him go into the production meeting? Because the whole thing about him
they
not
are.
going.
Yes.
They waived some things. For the
Okay,
Super Bowl.
good.
Oh, okay.
Because it's
Okay.
like the whole like there's no more games to be played. There's no more game plan that he's going to be able to suck out of any of these teams and give him to the Raiders.
Yeah, he's in there. He's doing his thing. He's got the behind the scenes knowledge.
How soon do you think Greg Olson will be trending on Saturday, on
Ooh.
Sunday?
He is very actively shopping himself for jobs.
Why wouldn't you?
I don't blame him.
He is the best in the business.
Instead of being a company man and going, you know what, I'm taking one for Tom. I'd be like, no, Kevin and I were like the best crew going. They had a great Super Bowl.
You can tell he doesn't think Tom's going to be there.
You're
No,
right. He's
which is
waiting,
fine. So you
yeah.
don't burn that bridge,
Uh-huh.
but you keep the door open.
Mhm.
Wasn't that? I mean,
He's
also,
definitely kept the door open.
also too like not only is just Greg Olson better than Tom Brady, but Greg Olson is an announcer. and where Tom Brady's got 1 foot in and 1 foot out doing something else. Where it's like he's
yeah,
not
but I
even-
don't know if that's what makes him not good. I just don't know if
Well, it adds,
he just doesn't seem all that comfortable.
It adds insult to injury, though. It just adds insult to like Greg is like, I am doing this, and this is my job, and this is what I'm committed to.
Sure.
And this guy who's taking my spot, who's way worse, this isn't even his main priority.
Yeah, it's
like Brady
it's
comes
not.
across as a guy that is just watching the game, but like doesn't commentate.
Yeah,
He just watches the game and maybe makes some noises.
yeah. Could you make some noises for me, Tom?
You can't do that. You
like,
can't make that type of mistake. Not in this
their
game.
first game, Kevin Burkhardt had to like draw stuff out of him.
I know
because
he was,
the play would
asking
happen,
questions.
and it would be like Brady was just watching the play.
What'd you see on that, Tom?
Yeah, that's what he
It's like
tried
I
to
just
lead him
love
into.
football. I just love football. This is great.
You don't know what this means to me.
So great to be here with you. And then they do they have him record little bits after the games and
Yes.
stuff like that. It's like Tom's takes or something.
Who would be better at color, Tom Brady or Bill Belichick?
Bill Belichick's on TV a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't had it on with the sound on, but I assume he's pretty good.
Yeah, but I haven't listened to one word this guy said.
But he's on TV.
But he's
a
on
lot.
TV. And so he must be pretty good.
He gets a lot of reps.
Gets a lot of
He
runs.
does.
He is pretty good. I think his dry sense of just self
Mhm.
would really like articulate toward the broadcast and be funny to listen to.
Maybe.
Tom has 15 lines and he just says those 15 lines over and over again.
Yeah, maybe that's the bit. Like you just get him in there and he's like, I don't know.
Exactly.
It's like whatever.
Good news for you as a Royals fan.
Yes.
So the Royals yesterday signed the deal in Kansas City for
Yep.
10 games.
So
on
why
Sunday,
is that good news for me?
because they will be carried in Omaha.
Like locally
Yep.
over the air?
Yep. The great TV stations in WWT on Cozy will carry the Royals games.
Really?
The 10 Royals games that'll be carried in Kansas City.
Yeah, I think I get cozy.
But
Yep.
but that's not necessarily good news for me. Outside of for those 10 games, I just have the great pleasure of not flipping on the stupid, idiotic Bally's now FanDuel
That'd be
Sportsbook
correct.
app.
I do get cozy.
So you will get those 10 Royals games.
Oh my gosh, there's 2 hours of the Munsters on. in a
Are they
couple
on
minutes.
YouTube TV?
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
All right, cool. That's good.
The Munsters, King of Queens.
But
Married with Children.
I still have to buy the stupid app.
What a lineup.
I still have to buy the stupid app to watch all of the other games.
Well, yes, you still have to do that.
Yeah. It's
Unfortunately.
like I'm not going to be limited to 10 games this year for the Royals. Sorry. I'm going to watch more than that.
The Pacoda's at 81.5.
Yeah, I know. It's fine. They probably won't even win that much. Who knows?
Here we go.
Why are you
Spring
being all-
training hasn't even started, and you've
Why-
already started this.
Everyone
They're
hates their
spending
team.
more money than they ever have, and you're a sad salamander over there. You know, have a little faith.
They had a lot of guys who had great years last year, and
I think that's what
ready.
you're supposed to do.
Right. You're supposed to have good years, but it usually means in baseball that the next year won't be quite as good because like you can't have 2 career years in a row unless Seth Lugo just is the best pitcher in baseball, which I don't think he is.
That would be pretty amazing.
That would be pretty amazing.
That would be pretty amazing.
I don't think it's true. I don't believe it.
Yeah.
Did you guys break down maybe some of the flaws in the MLB The Show 25 College World Series
We did.
Stadium
We
yesterday?
did.
I was
Okay.
triggered.
You were triggered.
Yeah.
There's some new buildings. I haven't been downtown like in a week.
New buildings. They put bullpens on the field.
The light towers look good.
they
They knocked those out of the park.
Still didn't put that scoreboard out in left field though.
No, you would think they would correct that.
Do you think that will be the show they just didn't have enough time, or they're like, nah, we're gonna make it better? You know?
No, I don't know. I don't know if it was a rights thing or like if it was
What?
just
There's a rights to the scoreboard. They can't.
no, rights to the whole field. Like
You can't fully copy it.
Yeah, since it's not a Major League Baseball property,
Oh,
right.
so you have to
There's a separate deal.
make it kind of look like it, but
Right.
not.
Well, I think it's called Omaha, right? It's not even. It's not called Charles Schwab.
Is it even called Omaha?
I
have no idea what they're doing.
I think it's called Omaha.
Would you buy a college baseball game?
No, but I am buying this game.
Yeah, 100%.
I think I would. I think I would.
When can we get a college basketball game?
Man, I miss those two.
I think
Those were
sooner
good.
rather
Miss
than later.
Playing with Creighton at
Did
the
they ever
Omaha
do that
Auditorium.
well?
The well?
Did they ever do that well?
No.
College basketball.
And then
game?
they kind of gave up on it because they
Yeah.
focused on college football, and then of course Madden. And then MLB The Show has been around for a while, but problem with MLB The Show is they really haven't updated it.
It doesn't get better ever.
Yeah, like
Any year.
it's been essentially the same for about 7-8 years.
We have to put more stuff for Diamond Dynasty.
Well, the only thing they change is like
the card packs. So we got the oven mitts where the guys can slide and you can put cool logos.
we
on
got
them.
new accessories.
It's all the stuff for 4-year-olds.
Yeah, it kept saying like, hey, like we'll give you a pack of cards
Yeah.
with this, and I'm like a physical pack of cards, and it said no. And I'm like, what are we doing here?
No, it's virtual currency. It's virtual currency, man. No, they keep changing the fielding mechanics. There's a different way to field a ground ball every damn year, but you still just press X, square, and O.
It looked really complicated.
And yeah, because they can't stick to the same interface. Everyone gets used to that interface of like fielding, and then they change it, and then you're like back to throwing balls over the top of the first baseman's head for 2 weeks. It's a crappy game, but I am going to buy it just because of the college baseball fee.
Yeah, I'm trapped. I'll probably buy it too. I'll probably buy it too.
Who's on the cover?
Of the show?
Paul
Skeens,
Dela Cruz,
and Gunnar.
Gunnar Henderson, who is apparently the best shortstop in baseball.
There you go. That's how you
Hey.
get a KC fan all riled up.
No, that's true though. Like Bobby Witt Jr. has been ignored this offseason.
Completely.
Like even on the MLB's top shortstops,
He was
what, he's a
fourth.
fourth.
He was fourth.
Yeah.
Fourth.
Did he not finish runner-up for the MVP?
He
No.
did.
He did.
Did they not make the playoffs?
No. But Gary, they were
did.
playing bad teams in the division, so it doesn't count.
They actually beat the Orioles in the playoffs.
Like,
that
is-
happened.
That is kind of a mystery, and I know we're closer to them. That people are like have forgotten about Bobby Witt Jr.
Why?
He had an incredible season last
He
year.
needs to remind them.
But he's not as cool. He doesn't wear as many arm sleeves and armbands as Ellie De La Cruz. So how could you put him on a video game? I think
You need to up those accessories,
yes,
Bobby.
however cool you are is completely parallel to how many armbands you wear these days.
You should
I
do a
wanna knock
Chaz.
Ellie because I like Ellie.
How many shin guards can you wear at one time? Now
Do
that
it-
will be challenged in Major League Baseball this year. Shin guards, elbow guards, knee guards.
You need to pull a Jazz Chisholm and just mohawk.
They're going to start
Different
wearing
color.
cups on the outside and saying that it's
That
cool.
would be awkward.
Triple
would
cupping. Triple
but
cupping.
it's an accessory. You got to have the accessories.
We're done with the itty bitty tiny last names, right? We're done with that.
Yes, we're going back
fixed
to
that, right?
giant last names.
Giant last names. Hell
Which is-
yeah.
which is good because those were bad.
Well, Ken Rosenthal has taken up your fight. Apparently, he has gotten into it with whoever
On what?
on Bobby Witt Jr.
Thank you, Ken.
being ignored.
Thank you, Ken. It's appreciated.
Fight the good fight.
Like,
Don't worry.
but
You'll
you
know
don't,
soon enough.
but you don't even see him like on commercials.
No.
Like
Except
you watch
for
MLB
Whataburger.
Network and there's nothing about Bobby Witt Jr.
He's got a good look.
I don't know why he's ignored. I mean, I know Kansas City is a small market, but
He's-
they did go to the playoffs.
He's quiet. He doesn't ruffle any feathers.
It's a little McDavid.
Now, I don't know what Gunnar Henderson is compared to that. But
He ruffles all the feathers. You didn't know that?
Yeah, I don't think he's a feather ruffler.
No, Bobby Witt Jr. is very similar to Connor McDavid from the commercial standpoint, where for years Connor McDavid was this top dude, but he just could not be marketed. They could not put him in front of a camera, and then now he is. Now they're doing it.
Maybe it's coming. Maybe it's coming. It's still early for him. Maybe he gets a cover all to himself next year after they win the World Series or something like that.
And here you are saying they're going to enter under 81 on the Pacoda.
Now you talked yourself back into it.
Now you're talking.
They'll win
As soon
7
as
out
I
of their-
think about, they pull me back
They'll
in.
win like 7 out of their first 10 or something. Actually, no, they always suck in April and they drain my spirit immediately. So maybe like in May, they'll win like 7 out of 10 or something like that to get themselves back to 500.
He'll
and
be
I'll
right
like,
there in the
Hello, watch
American
out.
League Cialis.
Yeah, we're the.
How about this? The Tigers have the top payroll in that division now
I know.
Whoa.
Yeah.
because it was the Twins and now it's the Tigers
Mhm.
after the Flaherty deal.
Mm-hmm.
Make you feel good?
Well, the Royals should go get a corner outfielder and then it would be them.
Who's out there? Because we're going to get
Still?
Alex Bregman.
Yep.
It'll be you'll see a lot of Hunter Renfroe, MJ Melendez,
Jonathan in India.
Jonathan India. Probably, can he play outfield or is he still going to play second base? And then you have like 3 second basemen who are all like fine on your. I don't know.
This is a nice little roller coaster, roller coaster in February. We're on here.
He's in, he's out, he's
If
in.
we
he's
get-
out.
They'll be fine. They'll be fine.
If we get Bregman, I might go from I'm ready to be hurt again to it feels like 2016
Alex
again.
Bregman kind of stinks now.
But he's still a bat, and we need bats.
Oh,
just add the bats.
Any bat?
Any bat.
I got a bat for you.
Any bat.
You could have MJ Melendez.
Any bat ever.
He's got a new stance. Give
He
him a
does.
chance.
Yeah, come on. He's getting short, long through the ball now.
I watched him hit 100 home runs at Werner Park that one year, and I was like, "Oh, this is going to be the guy." And then, yeah, didn't.
I mean, he's
translate.
Those were good times. He was crushing the ball at Werner.
Launching pad, Werner Park. All right. Well, you guys have a great afternoon.
Hey, no buzz or buzz for Super Bowl?
Not much
Not
buzz.
much.
Not
It's
a lot.
It's
Not much.
Wednesday.
It's a
We
low buzz Super Bowl at this point.
We spent more time on Gilligan's Island today than we did on the Super Bowl. So
Yeah,
That's
I got an
just-
email here from John.
Oh, hi, John.
Ginger or Marianne?
Classic
question.
sports radio
Poll
debate.
question.
Did you ever wonder like how they kept the batteries going in that radio?
I did not watch Gilligan's Island.
Not once.
I mean, once I know what a 3 hour tour. I know the whole deal, but
There you
like
go.
I never watched the show.
Okay.
Sorry.
Fair enough.
All right. That's a crossover powered by Everlevel Concrete Repair in Omaha at everlevelconcrete.com. It's Wednesday. We'll start things off next.
It's the Connor Happer Show. Are we sure we want to do this?
Could you, make an announcement that we're ready?
It's the Connor Happer Show on 1620, The Zone.
All right, welcome in. Happy Wednesday. It's the Connor Happer Show. You're on 1620 The Zone and on 1620thezone.com. Connor Happer, Josh Odson with you. Hello, everybody. Welcome.
How we doing?
Doing good. Needed that rain, huh?
Oh, yeah.
It's not really raining. It's like half raining.
Crops are going to be fine now.
Oh, yep. Thank you. Thank you, Mother Nature. It's appreciated. On a little bit of a gloomy day here in Omaha. Winter is sort of returned for the moment.
Hate that.
Yeah, that's all right. We're going to have to deal with it for a couple more months, at least according to the groundhog.
Yes, the rodent.
I was really happy this weekend that we had Groundhog Day, and it wasn't on a weekday, so we just it was a non-story.
It's like it didn't even happen.
It was awesome. It was great because every year it's like, oh, the groundhog, and everybody, we would have spent at least 5 to 8 minutes on the groundhog on this show.
The guy in your office with the least amount of personality is walking around the hallways going, hey, anyone know what the groundhog said this morning? I missed it.
Did you see it? I can't believe they still trust that thing. Yeah. All right. We're off and running here on a Wednesday. Robin Washut will join here in just a few minutes. Nebraska basketball will play a game in 11 hours. That's almost a whole day.
That's a lot of hours from now.
Long time. So we'll get the pregame preview, even though it still feels like the day before, with Robin coming up in just a few minutes. Mitch Sherman will join at 11:30. He's got a story up on The Athletic today regarding the transition of power for Nebraska volleyball and the behind the scenes and the emotions that went into those couple days where Nebraska was making its change from John Cook to Danny Busboom Kelly. Danny Busboom Kelly will have her press conference open to the public tomorrow. Many cheers.
Where at?
At the Devaney.
Okay.
There's going to be a lot of people there, and it's going to be a party. It'll be a huge celebration.
And there's going to be little pockets of the internet that go, look how many people showed up to a Nebraska volleyball press conference.
That's right. That's exactly right.
And then it will go, it's different here.
It definitely is. And that's true.
It is.
It definitely is.
I know I said it mockingly, but
yeah,
that's coming.
Almost like you said, Nebraska ball is good.
Nebraska volleyball, good. Nebraska basketball, very good.
Okay, at least I know. I'm glad that you at least know how to say things not sarcastically, because I believed you when you said Nebraska volleyball was good.
Oh, they're very good.
Okay. All right. All right. That one sounded a little more sarcastic.
Elite.
Oh, that was even more sarcastic. And
damn it.
At 1 o'clock, Chris Franklin from NJ.com will join. He covers a few teams up in the Northeast, including the Philadelphia Eagles, who will be playing in the Super Bowl. Have you heard about this, Josh?
I've heard rumblings of a Super Bowl.
Have you heard more about the refs than the actual bowl of superness this Sunday? I have.
By a lot.
Yep, that's unfortunate, but Chris will join the show coming up at 1. That is the lineup powered by the referees at John Higgins Weather Guard. We'd love to hear from you all today. 402-951-1620. You can call on the hotline. You could text on the text line as well. Same number, 402-951-1620. Tweet at Happer Show.
Text me.
At Connor Happer on the JTech Constructions on Twitter feed. Email Connor, Josh O at 1620thezone.com on the Equitable Bank Zone inbox. And we say good morning to the YouTube streamers today. Hi, everyone. Hello. Comments coming in on and there's opinions coming in as well.
Opinions, yeah.
I got an opinion. We have an opinion already on the text line. It started with all caps. I have an opinion regarding the Super Bowl halftime show coming up on Sunday. We will open up the opinion bag coming up at noon today.
Oh, okay. I read the opinion. It's like a paragraph. It's a very well written paragraph. It's a journey. It's a journey.
Yeah,
I agree.
You agree? You agree that rap is crap?
But no, I'm not Jeff Jarrett. Although I am close personal friends with him.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, did you hear about your other close personal friend coming to Omaha? He was announcing some dates on a comedy tour.
Aziz Ansari?
No, not your close personal friend yet.
Yet. I tried last night. Don't worry.
But our dear
Frank?
friend Frank Caliendo.
Oh, we gotta get Frank on.
Yeah, he's coming back in May, I guess. So maybe we'll have him pop in.
I thought about asking him this week just to be on for Super Bowl week because there's that guy on the Chiefs whose name is Caliendo, and they always go, I thought that was Frank Caliendo.
Ha ha ha.
Thanks, Jim Nance.
So yes, he will. By the way, what's your friendship? What's your relationship looking like with the Cash Cab guy at this point?
So I've realized that Cash Cab guy is either very, very busy or very, very lazy. Because
interesting.
I'm emailing his PR person like, hey, come on the show, promote your Omaha show. And he's like,
well, you got to get straight to the Cash Cab guy.
And she said, yeah, I just need him to look at his schedule. He'll do it. I just need him to look at his schedule.
You're not like with Caliendo, you're not dealing with any PR people anymore. You're dealing with Frank.
Right.
You need to get to Ben Bailey.
Yeah.
You need to get to Ben Bailey, get his number and just start. Because I'm sure he would be like, absolutely, I love you.
Original target date for Ben was today.
Oh my God, really?
Last night.
I'm not prepared for this.
Last night. Well, no, it's not happening today. Last night I received an email. How does Thursday look? And I responded.
Tomorrow?
Yes.
Okay. And
a little busy, but I got a window. I need you to get back to me.
All right. So we'll see.
Yes.
I'd call it unlikely.
I would as well.
All right, good. Elsewhere on the show today, Creighton will head to Providence today.
Get some donuts.
And this sweet old lady on a motorized cart. Didn't even see it coming. Can read the Rhode Island S word that I don't think I want to say on the radio.
We can legally,
I don't think I want
to.
to.
No, we're not that show.
Yep. So we might make some Dumb and Dumber jokes today. Nebraska heads up to Washington tonight, where they'll see some familiar faces like Wilhelm Breidenbach. Remember Wilhelm?
How could I forget?
Our dear friend Wilhelm. Elsewhere, we'll ask, should we actually be worried about Rick Pitino killing himself? He always says that he feels like he wants to kill himself, but yet St. John's just keeps on winning. Rumors are out there, Josh, that St. John's is back, folks.
I have heard this. I have seen this.
They're at the top of the Big East right now, and the Garden was lit last night for their game against Marquette, which conveniently took place at 5:30 p.m. Loved it, by the way.
We did love this. Okay.
That was fantastic. So we'll check in with Rick and see what he wants to kill himself about this time. I have an admission to make. I am a disgusting sicko freak. I lost 24 minutes of my life last night watching all of the basketball analytics nerds talk about basketball analytics with Andy Katz. And I learned some things, so you guys have to go on this journey with me now. That's how this works.
Was there a nerd roundtable, a nerd summit last night?
Yes, Josh.
Yes, the five families getting together.
Yes.
Evan Maya, whoever runs.
Nope, he wasn't on there. It was Ken Pom.
68.
It was Ken Pom, Bart, and then the guy from ESPN's BPI, the guy from KPI, and then the Net and the Wob guy. Have you heard of Wob now?
I've heard of Wob. I don't ask me no follow-up questions, please.
Yeah, wins above bubble. So they all had
okay.
They all have their opinions on how their metrics should be used. And I took a couple things from it, but I just wanted to let you know that I hate myself. So we'll talk about that during the show today.
It's one of those it can't be for nothing things, so
Correct.
I have to use it on the show.
I wasted 30 minutes of my life putting this topic together. It will be talked about. I had a random NBA thought last night while I was laying in bed, triggered about something that On3 did. The Big East is going to officially Hunan.
Oh, they got an official Chinese sponsor.
That's right. That's what I read.
Big East Conference.
Officially Hunan. I read that and I was like, wow, that sounds good. I need some Hunan right now.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So we'll talk about that. And the Super Bowl week, of course, has been hijacked by people talking about refs. These people should get a life. You thought I was a sicko for watching the nerds talk about numbers. You guys talk about refs. That's the real sicko. So that is the setup for the show today. And don't forget, I have an opinion coming up at noon. Get in your opinions to at Happer Show on the JTech Constructions on Twitter feed is the best way to do it. But if you leave a comment anywhere on the show, we will locate it. Coming up next, we'll start off our Wednesday by having a chat with Robin Washut of HuskerOnline.com. How will Nebraska fare tonight in Seattle? After winning 2 in a row, snip, snap, snip, snap, snip, snap. You lose 6 in a row. You win 2 in a row. You feel good about yourselves. You feel bad about yourself. You're back on the bubble. So all of a sudden, tonight takes on a bit of an importance because you're playing what many think are the worst team in the Big Ten Conference. We're back with Robin on the other side. Welcome to a Wednesday show here on 1620 The Zone.
The biggest basketball coaching convention of
work on your skills while you listen.
What?
You don't want to embarrass. Yeah, I'm talking.
What is going on? Robin, are you okay?
Robin Washut.
Are your kids near you, or what just happened?
Husker Online.
I took a lot of preparation to make this thing a flawless interview, and clearly I still can't avoid it.
Robin Washut, Husker Online.
Maybe it was aliens. Maybe it was a phenomenon that we can't explain.
The Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
All right, we are getting a hold here of Robin Washut of HuskerOnline.com. Nebraska basketball tonight travels to Washington. They stayed out on the West Coast and made the trip north. They will play tonight at Alaska Airlines Arena. Alaska Airlines Arena for the first time. Washington 2-8 in the league. Nebraska trying to get their way back into the picture if they haven't done so already. And that's where we bring in our good friend Robin Washut. Hi, Robin.
Hello.
Robin, first of all, are you ready to re-experience the Wilhelm Breidenbach experience tonight?
So I've actually watched a few of their games this season, and he's still Wilhelm, where like he'll make plays. You're like, oh, wow, that's really good versatility for 6'10", 230-pound guy.
And then he'll look completely lost.
Then he'll go like flying out of bounds into the stands and like knock over somebody's drink, and you're like, oh yeah, that's the Wilhelm. I know.
You know, one of the things that I always like that always strikes me about like a guy like Michael Jordan or something like that. I'm like, wow, he had like complete control over all of his body parts. You know, the body control was amazing. Wilhelm Breidenbach might be the exact opposite of that scale. I feel at times he has no control over his body at all.
Yeah, so like that kind of comes with being that big and playing with that level of effort, we'll call it. You know, it kind of lends itself to losing control a little bit. But I got nothing bad to say about Wilhelm. He was a great kid, super smart, and it didn't work out here. And I'm glad that he's found a home in Washington and doing relatively well. He was one of those kids that like always answered my calls in the recruiting process, which anymore is harder than ever to do. So I will always have respect and a like for Wilhelm Breidenbach.
Robin, over the last two, what has Nebraska done for itself in the big picture? I mean, you know, the wins speak for themselves. They're good ones. Nebraska now has 4 top 25 victories on the season, and you still look at the conference record and you see 4-7, and you think, oh, okay, they have some work to do. But you know, according to the people who are matching bubble teams up with each other, Nebraska's right back in the conversation. Like, was it that easy? Like, you know, obviously you still have plenty of work to do, but it feels like they've done a lot for themselves over the last week here.
Yeah. So basically over the last 8, they went from firmly in the NCAA tournament to out of the picture to back on the right side of the bubble over these last 2. So they're where they need to be. But unfortunately, with that 6-game losing streak, they left themselves with very little wiggle room. And so, you know, again, like I said, they have work to do, and they have a kind of a small margin of error to go through for this home stretch of the regular season. But, you know, I guess the good news is that as bad as things looked, and they were getting pretty grave there for a while after that 6th loss, you know, it shows you how quickly things can turn over the course of a college basketball season. And just when you were ready to write them off and people were questioning Fred Hoiberg's future here and all that sort of thing, now they're back in the NCAA tournament discussion. Now we're talking about seeding again. So things happen fast, and they can change one way or the other very quickly. And this last month was a perfect example of that. So I guess the good news is that they've kind of got things, you know, back to where you would hope they would be, just with not only the wins, but the way that they're playing. I think they're getting back to their recipe for success. And, you know, they'd be 2 top 25 teams in a row as a result of it. So if they can continue that course, they put themselves in position to, you know, accomplish what they wanted to accomplish this year. But, you know, now they just don't have as much of a cushion as they may have had before those 6 straight losses.
How big of a landmine is tonight?
It's big, but it's still a road game. So, like, from a net perspective, you're not going to get punished too much. You know, I think they're in 50 in the net right now. Like, you know, it probably wouldn't drop too much. But, you know, this is also the last place team in the conference, and it's a golden opportunity to pick up a coveted Big Ten road win. And you could have 2 straight Big Ten road wins. You know, and you look at what people look at. You know, it's who'd you beat and where'd you beat them. And, you know, 2 Big Ten wins away from your home arena, that's going to carry a lot of value, especially for a Nebraska team that, you know, needs kind of to supplement their resume a little bit beyond, you know, some of the top 25 upsets they had. So like on the surface with Washington's record, you know, you wouldn't think it'd be much, but I don't know if necessarily the consequence of losing it would like kill Nebraska's season. It wouldn't help certainly, but if they win it, that would be a really nice feather in the cap to where then you're even further ahead of the curve, you know, going into a very home heavy final stretch. So I look at this more as an opportunity that Nebraska can't afford to miss out on. I mean, again, a loss isn't going to derail their season, but a win could put themselves in a much more comfortable situation going into February and beginning of March.
Are you essentially, is Nebraska essentially playing like 1-game seasons at this point from the perspective of like what to expect from them on a nightly basis? Because that has been kind of a wild ride over these last 8 games, and frankly, like you sort of just mentioned there, I don't know if they're you can't confidently say like, hey, they're going to go in there and definitely win tonight, but you also can't say that they're not going to beat, even if they lose tonight, you can't say that they're not going to beat Ohio State and Maryland coming back in their next 2, which those 2 are middle to top of the league. So I guess, how do you approach them on a nightly basis now, given what you've now seen since the start of the new year, basically?
Yeah, I mean, I think that they're closer to what we've seen the last 2, because that was the team that they looked like through 13 of their first 14 games. And, that's, again, kind of the key to this whole deal, is if they follow that formula, they're going to have a really good chance of success, just because they're built to win in the Big Ten. And with when they play like that, when they defend with the effort that you saw, the last 2 nights, and, have Bryce Williams playing at that level, and Jawan Gary having that attacking mentality again, which he kind of got away from. So it's all kind of coming back together a little bit. And so it's been 2 games in a row now where you've seen the good Nebraska show up. And so over the course of the entire season, they've been that team more than they've been what we saw during those 6 losses. Now the key is, you got to maintain it, because the only way they're going to get back to the NCAA tournament is if they play the way they have been the last 2. So I guess the good news is that they found their stride at the absolute most necessary time to find it. Now they got to maintain it, and if they play like that again tonight, they'll win, and they'll have a really good chance to win the rest of their home games, or at least most of their home games. And if they do that, then again, you're right on path, and you're just kind of holding serve. And more than likely, you're going to put yourself in the NCAA tournament field. But, can they be that team every night? And can they avoid the roller coaster that this season has kind of been, to where, out of nowhere, they look completely lost and get away from everything that has led them to the success they've had? And so that's the question. And we just don't know, because, it's been positive that they've gotten back to it the last 2 games, but can they do it for a 3rd time, and a 4th and a 5th? And so we'll find out tonight how able they are to maintain that level of play. But again, I think that they've at least shown that the team that got them to 12-2 didn't disappear. It was there, and they just needed to get back to that formula.
Do you think they figured out or got closer to figuring out? And I think it was a little bit different over the last 2, or maybe it's a game by game thing on who, what their best course of action is, sort of how to handle the ball handling part of it with the like they've gone through a lot of different iterations of this now, and they've trotted out some different lineups. Like it feels like they're just going to put the ball in Bryce's hands, and that might be the best course of action. But I guess, what do you see right now with that, and how important is that to their success?
Yeah, I think that's kind of the best route, at least over the last couple, is that Bryce is your best ball handler to start games. But I think they also like Raleigh off the bench. And, before he got into foul trouble, it was against Oregon, or I can't remember which game it was, but he got 2 early fouls, but he was playing really well before those 2 early fouls. And so, maybe he's the type of guy that is more comfortable coming off the bench, because I thought he's played pretty well over the last 2. And so maybe that's kind of, you start with Bryce and let him kind of set the tone and keep things under control. And then you have Raleigh come off the bench with Aaron Eulis sprinkled in. And then even Sam Hoiberg's played a little bit of point. He played 37 minutes against Oregon, which is just a few seconds shy of his career high. And then he had 35 plus in the game before that. So they are really relying on Sam, and his box score isn't going to do anything for you.
Right.
He'll have a couple points, a couple rebounds. But I can't remember who said it on the BTN broadcast, but he made the point that Sam's the guy that kind of just brings it all together. Just with his effort and the tone that he sets. That's why he's in the starting lineup. From a production standpoint, he's not going to give you much. But when it comes to kind kind of being the driving force behind Nebraska playing with the defensive effort it needs to play with, and locking in on both ends of the floor and just like making the 50-50 winning plays. That's I think why he's kind of emerged as an important part of that starting lineup, because you've seen Nebraska get off to kind of these lulls, and when you dig yourself that big of a hole, it's hard to climb out of. So when you start the game with a guy that's going to bring effort every single night, I think that's kind of where his role has kind of emerged over these last couple. And so I think so he'll sprinkle into that conversation, but Bryce is the lead, Raleigh is the top backup, and then Aaron Eulis as maybe that third guy. That's probably where you're going to see them continue to go with that point guard role. And I know that it takes Bryce off the ball a little bit, but he was playing his best basketball last year as the lead guard, and right now he's had a National Player of the Week level week where he's been the lead guard. So maybe that's where he's at his best.
Robin, you got a nap in your schedule today?
I should. Probably won't be allowed to because of my children. I will do my best, but coffee will be flowing. It's going to be like Michael Brunt's level coffee consumption.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's dangerous.
Careful.
My heart can take it.
Yeah, careful. 9:30 tip-off tonight, Central Time for Nebraska and Washington. All right, Robin, we'll let you go. Appreciate it as always, my friend, and enjoy the long evening tonight.
Yep. Stay up late. It's going to be a good one.
That's right. Thank you. That is Robin Washut of HuskerOnline.com. So game ends at about, 11:30-ish. You wrap up the post-game press conferences by hair after midnight.
Oh, yeah.
And then you're writing, and might be able to wrap it up by 1. Right in the middle of Josh time, really.
You're gonna wanna work on that gamer during the game.
Yeah. Maybe Nebraska can help them out.
Yeah,
and take care of their business early tonight. We could still continue to talk about them as we go on throughout the show, and then of course we'll talk about the Jays who are at Providence tonight. Double landmine night, I think.
Ooh,
double landmine night.
Exciting.
You don't want to step there.
Mm-hmm.
Don't step wrong. Anyway, just work your way around it and move on. Don't step on that landmine. All right. We will be back 11 o'clock hour after this on 1620 The Zone.
Let's get back to the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
Hey, what level do you have to be at to get your own set when you're on Radio Row for the Super Bowl? You know?
Yeah, most people just get like the backdrop.
They just get like a table.
Mm-hmm.
Like we've been at media days before. They just give you a table. They're like, here you go. You can do whatever you want with the table. Set up your cameras. We'll give you a power strip, and you guys just go to town.
You want to put a cover on the table? You can put a cover on the table.
You put your signs up, whatever you want to do. But what you have at your disposal is a table. How big do you have to be to get the Pat McAfee show set or like the Pardon My Take set, you know, where they have like a separate room and then they go by through the, you know, people go through the car wash or whatever. And they're like, oh, I got to stop over with these guys in the separate rooms.
I mean, you got to be pretty big, right?
You probably got to be pretty big, and you obviously have to pay a significant amount of money as well to be able to have them set something up like that.
Hey, we need this, and we only need it for 3 days. Can we buy it? Yeah, sure, that's fine. Go for it.
You could buy anything. You could buy anything. All right, welcome back. 11 o'clock hour, the Connor Happer Show here on 1620 The Zone and on 1620thezone.com. We are also working on you getting your bleep together here at 1620 The Zone. Don't miss your chance to win $5,000 with the Get Your Bleep Together giveaway. Register online for a chance to win at 1620thezone.com. We have so many chances for people to win. You know who else wins? St. John's basketball, Josh. They're back. At least that's what the people are saying.
I've heard this.
But why does Rick Pitino keep making... Should we be worried about Rick Pitino? Because he keeps making references to killing himself. We obviously have the famous one, which has been on the board ever since he made the trip to Omaha a couple years ago.
I want to kill myself, jump in the cold and die of frostbite.
And so that was the first time I heard Rick Pitino mention, hey, how does losing make you feel? Oh, it makes me feel like I want to kill myself. But Rick Pitino didn't lose last night. They beat Marquette in a slobber knocker. Disgusting basketball game. It was perfect for Madison Square Garden. And so he catches up with many after the game, including Bill Raftery, who talks to him on the court after the game. And he has this to say.
But I know the free throws, you just ignore it and keep plugging.
Yeah, inside, I want to kill myself. Outside, I just say, that's okay, we're going to make the next one.
The league itself. I mean, you've been around the country.
That's pretty much it. Okay. And then he later repeated it with John Fanta. Hey, how does it, what's it like during the game? Well, I want to kill myself during the games. But then he keeps talking about how New York basketball is back, and this was the dream. The Garden looking like this. I mean, it was a scene last night at MSG, that's for sure.
I mean, he's got that thing up and running right now.
I still can't tell you for sure that they are definitely the best team in the Big East, but they have the resume to prove it so far, outside of that loss in Omaha, which was coincidentally their last loss on New Year's Eve. They're rolling.
It's February.
Yeah, they're rolling right now.
Huh.
They'll get a visit from Creighton coming up next weekend.
Oh no.
Yeah. Creighton has not had success in Madison Square Garden all that routinely.
Famously.
St. John's is back. They're in the driver's seat for the Big East title, but I'm still worried about Rick Pitino. Just so we can, put that out there. I'm worried about him. He puts a lot on himself.
Yeah, let's keep an eye on him.
Yep.
You'd think he'd be a little more comfortable with the gig at this point in his life.
All right, so we transition now into college basketball at large. And I said this earlier. By the way, Crecky writes in on YouTube, I feel the same as Pitino when I watch Nebraska b-ball. like this?
I want to kill myself, jump in the cold and die of frostbite.
It paints such a picture.
That could happen today. It's pretty cold out. Everyone be careful.
It's 25, and you could stay out there for a little while.
It'd have to be prolonged.
Yeah, you'd have to be out there for a while. Anyway, I mentioned earlier, Josh, that I am a sick, disgusting freak.
I have heard this.
You have?
I've heard this about you.
Okay, well, only because I told you earlier, right? Not
right.
You haven't heard it from anybody else?
No.
Okay,
Streets ain't talking.
Good. Well, I want to be upfront with you all. I'm a sick, disgusting freak. Last night, or I guess it was yesterday afternoon, and then it popped back on my timeline last night, so I decided, you know what? I got 25 minutes. Let's watch this. Whatever. I didn't really have 25 minutes. I wanted to watch it. And it was Andy Katz sitting down with the nerds, the college basketball nerds, the biggest college basketball nerds that we have. Ken Pomeroy of KenPom.com. My little Ken Pom. Josh.
Real person. Your little Ken Pom thingy is a real person.
Yeah, Ken Pom started it off. The first question was to Ken Pom, and he came in hot. No, he didn't. He's very dry.
Oh.
I know people have had like Ken Pom on their shows before. I wouldn't. It's not probably a great idea.
Not this
Just
show.
Let him do the metrics. Bart Torvik from Bart Torvik was on there. Kevin Pauga, as they referred to as KP of the KPI. Alec Patani of the Net and the WOB. And Matt Morris of the BPI and the SOR. We're all doing a nerd roundtable for 24 minutes on X with Andy Katz.
Incredible.
And I was like, you know what? I'm going to click it. I'm going to watch it. So I watched the whole thing. And now you have to watch it with me. Or now I have to tell you about it. Travis, by the way, wrote in earlier. He says, ew, you watch all that basketball analytic nerd talk? Please tell me about it. Please share. I will. Thank you for asking.
How were you glued to this? Like, did you put down what else you were doing and watch this, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, well,
it wasn't just like on in the background.
I guess kind of. I don't know what category you'd put this in. I had it up on one tab in this. I could hear the sound, but I didn't feel like I need to actually watch.
Yeah,
it was like I was listening to a podcast.
Okay,
but it was definitely at the forefront of my mind.
1.0 speed.
Yes. I guess you can speed stuff up on Twitter, but I don't do that.
No,
I don't listen to things fast. I just listen to them at normal speed. So I watched the whole thing. And here's my takeaways. And this is important to our local college basketball teams who, frankly, have enjoyed life on the bubble over the last couple of years. Near the bubble, close to the bubble. Creighton wouldn't be called on the bubble right now. Nebraska would definitely be squarely on the bubble at this moment. So there's this movement in college basketball to try to talk about these things in different ways than currently gets talked about. Each one of the nerds agreed that the committee should use the results-based metrics instead of the predictive metrics. What are the results-based metrics compared to the predictive metrics? I'm glad you asked, Josh. Thanks.
I have a theory.
You do? Well, you know what they are because of their descriptions, but which ones are they? So the predictive metrics are the BPI, Ken Pom, and Bart Torvik. They all use past production in games, efficiency, things like that, to try to predict what you are going to be going forward. So if you're making the argument for a team to get into the NCAA tournament, and you're making an argument, hey, look, here's what they've done, and these predictive metrics are a little bit higher on them than the results-based metrics, that means maybe that team is actually underachieved and that there is still some ceiling to hit for them as it pertains to getting into the NCAA tournament or going far in the NCAA tournament. Just for example, Creighton's predictive metrics, BPI 25, Ken Pom 31, Bart Torvik 32. The results-based metrics are a little bit more up and down. KPI 32, strength of record, SOR 21, and WOB, wins above bubble, 29. Each of the nerds said use the results-based metrics because really that's what you want to do, right? You want to take the teams who have actually produced instead of trying to use their results and predict what's going to happen to them against X team and Y team. One of the nerds talked about how ridiculous it is that the quad system, which is one of these things that really gets referenced with the bubble teams, right? We were just talking about it with Robin. Quad 2, quad 1.
Got a nice quad 2 tonight. How is Washington a quad 2?
The introduction, because it's a road game. The introduction of the net in the quad system has, and then the NCAA's adaptation, and the committee's adaptation of saying, like, this is what we're going to be watching, has really oversimplified things, in my opinion, and in the nerds' opinions. So we talk about quad 1 wins. How are you in quad 1 and quad 2 plus? Quad 1 plus quad 2, right? And then each of them made the point that some of us have made over the last couple of years, which is it's ridiculous that, if you beat a top, what is it, 25 team at home, it's a quad 1 win. But if you beat the 26th ranked team at home, it's a quad 2 win. Mm-hmm. And that counts for a lot less. And then all of a sudden you have one less quad 1 win. And Andy Katz made reference to a game in December, like Washington State put out a press release or something like that. And once again, this is in early December. They were like, Washington State notches a quad 1 win. He's like, quad 1, what are we talking about? There's 3 months of the season left, right? Why are we talking about these things? But if the schools and the conferences continue to perpetuate the idea that, hey, we have quad 1 wins and we have all these quad 1 opportunities, then all of a sudden everybody else starts to say, oh, wow, look at all those quad 1s. And that must be really important. The hard cut line is something that the nerds agreed on that is really, really ridiculous. Even nerd who wasn't included in the nerd conversation last night, Evan Miyakawa, who has been mentioned on the show, he wrote something about this last week. Abolish the quad system. Abolish the quad system. Where he says, one commonly used resume sorting metric is problematic, the quad system. The premise of the quad system is simple. A team's wins and losses are divided into 4 quadrants based on how difficult the game is deemed to be, using a combination of the opponent's net ranking and whether the game took place at home, on the road, or at a neutral site. On the surface, a team's quadrant record provides a good summary of the types of wins and losses that a team has. For example, he showed Louisville's quad system rankings as of when he wrote this last Wednesday. As an experienced evaluator, resume evaluator can immediately see that Louisville has performed pretty well in its toughest games. 500 against quad 1 while handling all other easier games without a hitch. 11-0 in the non-quad 1 games. In fact, just 5 teams have had more quad 1 wins than Louisville at that point. The most glaring issue with the quadrant record is the system is the sensitivity of the quadrant cutoffs. A quad 1 loss can turn into a quad 2 loss overnight, just due to that opponent moving from 75th to 76th in the net without even playing a game. The net is a moving target, as we know. The cutoff points are arbitrary, picked to be nice numbers divisible by 5 so that they are easy to remember. They're arbitrary. And so each of the nerds agreed this is not the end all be all. I believe Nebraska basketball had a coach, the one before Fred Hoiberg, his name was Tim. He said, I guess if the quad system is the end all, he was saying this several years ago. I guess the quads is the end all be all at this point. But there's now this movement among the nerds in the nerd community to say, this does not get the rigidness of the cutoff of this quad system does not give you an accurate enough representation of exactly what these teams are. Use the results-based metrics if you're looking at the metrics. Now, here's the argument that I would throw in there. I would say that it's incredibly difficult if you're really grinding it down to, what we're doing on Selection Sundays, we're grinding it down to 1 and 2 and 3 teams, either you're in or you're out, or where are you seeding, and who goes above who and who goes below who. Generally, you can get a good sense of what a team has done based on the metrics, but it's not always about generalities, right? Like sometimes you're really trying to differentiate between one team A versus team B. And from that perspective, it's just hard. because one metric might, the predictive metric, tie goes to the predictive metric or tie goes to the quad system or something like that. So I thought that was interesting in that way, that all the nerds said, hey, look, this is being looked at too specifically. It is so hot in here. It is being looked at like we are not allowing enough room for nuance when we talk about bubble teams and stuff like that. Now, is this important right now? Not necessarily, but it's definitely something that I want to keep in mind when we're looking at resumes and potential NCAA tournament teams here in a month or so. Chances are with our local teams, Nebraska and Creighton, that it will work itself out, right? You'll know. But if you have to endure that horrible, horrible, horrible selection Sunday and you don't know if you're going to be in or out, these are the things that you should be looking at. Now, if you're a fan of said team, if you're a fan of Nebraska basketball, if you're a fan of Creighton and they end up being on the bubble on selection Sunday, you're going to cherry pick the best metric that you can find and say, look at what they did in this.
Ranked wins.
Wins on the road, wins at home, wins against Kansas, wins against teams that beat Kansas. Like what you are going to cherry pick the best ones. And that will always be the case. Yeah. So what we have to make sure that doesn't happen is that the committee doesn't do those things. And I would also like a little bit more transparency, I guess, from that side of the coin as well. Okay, what are we looking at, and what did the tiebreaker go to?
Yeah. That would be interesting in that post bracket reveal not press conference, but they always talk to him on CBS and they ask him questions. It'd be nice if, I don't know, I guess maybe they invited one of those nerds to the desk.
They're so bad on TV though.
But maybe
that's the thing.
A pretty avatar to like
a proxy.
Hey, Wally Zerbiak, we'll hand you a piece of paper. Just read it, okay?
But what the nerds always say is like, it's not black and white. That's what they'll always say. Like,
and that's what the committee will always say.
But the committee will always ask the question to the nerd of like, okay, can you just tell me who's better, nerd?
You think?
And they're like, no, I can't. I don't know. It's a gut thing. It's a feel thing because all their metrics are all over the place and stuff like that. Cracky writes in on YouTube.
Hi, Cracky.
There are too many different rankings in college basketball. I don't know which ones actually matter. KenPom, quads, net. It's really confusing. The short answer is they all matter. But what the NCAA decided to do several years ago now is come up with this net rating. And it's very, very, it's calculated very, very similarly to all the other metrics that you see out there, right? KenPom, SWAB, BPI, Bart Torvik. Like the net is going to be relatively close to what all of the rest of those numbers are if you're looking at one specific team. But what they came up with, and it made it an easier sorting tool for the committee on Selection Sunday, is the quad system. And the quad system has thrown a wrench into everything. The quad system is now being referred to as too rigid, and it is. And the nerds are now fighting back. It's almost Revenge of the Nerds, Josh, in a way.
Revenge of the Nerds. Will Boner make an appearance?
Alex and Lincoln writes in.
Hi, Alex and Lincoln.
Whatever metric makes Nebraska look better to get them in, I don't care if it's results-based or predictive. Well, I'm glad you asked. Let's take a look at Nebraska's metrics as of right now. And you tell me which one of them looks better. The predictive metrics, BPI, KenPom, and Bart Torvik, aka T-Rank, 48, 45, and 40. So Bart Torvik, out of those, is the highest on. Now, the specifics of like what makes those different, like why are they different ranks? They weight things differently. You know, they didn't get into that. Although I would have liked another 24 minutes on what the actual difference is between KenPom and Bart Torvik, but that's for another day. The results-based metrics, Strength of record has Nebraska at 46. WAB, wins above bubble, has Nebraska at 44. KPI has Nebraska at 33. That is Nebraska's best metric. Their net is 50 at the moment. So that is the short end and the far end, 33 in KPI and 50 in the net. And do you remember having this conversation last year, Josh, about the stupid net? And people were like, the net, why does the net hate us? Why does the net have such ill feelings toward us?
The net is out to get Nebraska.
The net is out to get Nebraska. The net currently is the lowest on Nebraska out of the metrics.
If they were Duke, they'd be in.
Now, there are some of the metrics that do look at, now it's hopefully normalized by February 5th here, but they do take into account past production and the players on those teams and what you have coming back, because they have to start somewhere, right?
Yeah. I foresee us doing a really weird bit in the next couple of weeks.
What do you got?
Where it's a blind resume
We're
comparison.
gonna do the blind resume for sure.
Where, hey, this team has 4 ranked wins, 2 of them on the road. This other resume, this team is 4-7 in the conference, just 2 road wins. Which team would you put in the tournament? Well, clearly, Connor, I'd put the team with 4 ranked wins, 2 of which being on the road. Gotcha. They're the same team, Nebraska.
Did we do a blind resume segment last year?
We did.
Was it worth it? I don't remember it.
I think it's always worth it. I will always look at a blind resume and play the game.
Okay.
I don't know how everyone else in the audience feels, but
I always do too.
I'm a sucker.
I always do too.
I'm like, who is that?
All you're doing is looking at basically like you're averaging all of their metrics together and saying, so you have to figure out what you prefer. Like, do you prefer teams that have won, that have won a bunch of games on the road? If so, then Nebraska basketball is probably not going to be your team. Do you prefer teams who, have a whatever conference record? Then they'll cherry pick the metrics that they actually put in the blind resume test. And then it's interesting from there as well. Jack John writes in on Twitter.
Hi, Jack John.
NCAA, quote, This choosing good basketball teams is hard. Let's turn to some nerds instead who have never played a sport in their life.
Why don't they just let the nerds be the committee?
Because the nerds would never make up their mind.
Okay.
The nerds' whole thing is, here is the data. You do whatever that bleep you want with it. I'm telling you what the data says, and all the data put together has a very big jumbled picture.
Sure.
I'm glad that we have all of these points of data to look at. It can be a lot. But why the NCAA moved to the net to try and standardize it to the net is to make it less confusing. But then people decide, well, what if I don't like how the net's calculated? And what if I don't like the quad system? And here we are again with more metrics than we've ever had in our lives. We've never had more metrics, Josh.
I mean, have you been to the bracket matrix? I know you have, Connor.
I have been to the bracket matrix.
Have you been there, listeners?
What are the bracket matrix saying today?
A lot of people have Nebraska in. I thought it'd be a little more mixed.
Well, what's it looking like?
A lot of 10s, 11. 1.
How many brackets? So 58 out of 90 brackets have Nebraska in. It's not enough.
Right. Yeah. Generally, that's not going to get the job done.
90 out of 90 brackets have Creighton in. That's 100%, Josh.
Okay, I was calculating the math. I was almost there.
But if you take one thing away from this, take this away. Don't be on the bubble. It's too confusing. It's too hard. You don't want your fate to be left up to A, the nerds, and then B, the non-nerds who have to decipher the nerd information to get to boil you down to what, like, don't be on the bubble. If you could all help it, don't be on the bubble.
Because that's where Nebraska's going to get screwed. They're going to go like, well, should we put Nebraska in or St. Mary's.
Well, maybe
St.
you give them
Mary's
the
is
blind. Maybe you give the committee the blind resume test, and then you don't say that they're actually Nebraska,
and then you trick them.
Yeah.
I mean,
don't be on the bubble, because the bubble means that you are, like you can make the case for every bubble team that X team on the bubble should not be in the NCAA tournament. That's what the bubble always ends up being now that we have 68 teams in the NCAA tournament.
For now.
Yeah, it's going to be 190 next year or something like that. But like you can make the case for every single one of those teams that they shouldn't be there because of what they either have done or have not done during the season. And oftentimes what ends up winning out is it's either the element of the unknown, if the committee decides to go with it that way, thus leading toward, hey, we're going to put more mid-majors in this year. But it does seem to go with, those teams have actually played teams, so they tried, and so let's make them play teams again. And that's how you end up with all these, Power 5 high major bubble schools that end up getting in and getting nods over mid-majors in the NCAA tournament. It's all very confusing. Thank you, nerds, though, for all coming. They had a nerd summit.
The nerd summit. I'm glad they had it. I'm glad someone representing our show watched it, listened to it.
I don't think we got anything out of it, though.
You don't want to be talked about in that room for more than 30 seconds.
No.
You want it to be, oh, yeah, that team's in. Next.
One quick thing before we get to Mitch Sherman here.
Okay.
One more basketball-related item.
Hoops.
Back to the Big East Conference. The Big East Conference has officially announced Hunan.
Chinese food sponsor of Big East?
Officially human.
Human.
Oh, okay. Officially human. I'm no less confused, though. I thought it was officially Hunan, and I was pretty fired up. Here is Big East Commissioner Val Ackerman.
Hi, Val.
As we navigate a close personal friend.
Mm-hmm.
As we navigate the evolving landscape of college sports, it's crucial to recognize the vital role officials play in ensuring fair and enjoyable competition. These dedicated individuals are the backbone of our games, yet we are witnessing a concerning decline in their numbers. It's imperative that we cultivate a supportive environment, one that celebrates their hard work and commitment. I urge our players, coaches, administrators, and fans to stand together in fostering respect to positivity toward officials so we can contribute to a better sporting experience for everyone involved. We look forward to working with officially Hunan to achieve these goals. Basically, they're saying, please respect the refs. They're humanizing officials. Here's what they'll physically be doing. They will be elevating respect. Initiatives designed to foster a culture of respect and appreciation for officials. They will be having PA reads for Jake Ryan.
Oh, he'll love those.
Announcements and reminders during games to promote sportsmanship.
They already do that.
Maybe they could have defending Big East Sportsmanship Award winner Stephen Ashworth record some of these.
That's right.
By the way, you know who's not going to win the Sportsmanship Award this year? Stephen Ashworth. My guy has been disrespecting refs this year. Anyway, the third thing is they're going to do public service announcements, campaigns to educate and inform the community about the importance of treating officials with respect.
Hi, I'm St. John's head coach Rick Pitino.
Now, is there anything in here about attempting to fight people who are sitting at courtside at Xavier games? Respect to Ed Cooley.
Respect.
Did you see Ed Cooley last night?
No. Game
ends last night. Georgetown loses. Ed Cooley walks directly to the baseline and starts jawing with some Xavier fan.
Oh, hello.
I don't know what he said, but people have a way of getting under Ed Cooley's skin these days.
I respect it.
Say it. I have some guesses on what he said, but I'm not going to perpetuate those ideas on this show.
A statement from head coach Ed Cooley.
Yeah, oh yeah, he had a statement. All right.
It was like that, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Well, nothing physical happened.
Nope.
I always protect
Not
my
quite.
players.
Almost. So just be on the lookout for officially Hunan around the Big East, coming to a Big East school near you. Please respect the refs. Mm-hmm. They do a great job. Speaking of the refs, we'll talk about them in the Super Bowl later. But coming up next, we'll talk to Mitch Sherman, who I respect dearly as well.
As do I.
Officially Mitch, coming up next on 1620 The Zone.
Who do you want to talk about first?
Mitch Sherman, The Athletic.
He can play. And we need people that can play.
And we'll never be royal. Let me live that fantasy. Oh.
Mitch Sherman, The Athletic. On the Connor Happer Show. On 1620 The Zone.
He can play.
I joined now on the hotline by Mitch Sherman from The Athletic. Mitch, hello. How are you?
I'm good, Connor. I can report. I heard your weather and roads forecast there in the commercial, and
please add to it.
It is in fact icy. The ice that was maybe going to happen around Omaha is happening. So if you're on the roads, at least in my part of town, be careful.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I guess it makes sense. It is kind of spritzing. It's like 25 degrees. So
yeah, it's icy over here in Sarpy County.
Okay, be safe out there, everybody. That's Mitch Sherman, weather correspondent. Also does part-time work for The Athletic. Mitch, take us. Well, I want to ask you about the story that you wrote on The Athletic today, sort of about the behind the scenes of John Cook's retirement and all of the various processes. It continues to amaze me what Nebraska was able to pull off, like behind closed doors in the span of a couple days. And you touch base with Harper Murray's mom, which is, like a really, really important piece to this story as well, to make sure the news hit okay. Like, what did you take away from the process of what Nebraska did and how they were able to do it?
Yeah, it's pretty remarkable in this age of social media and rumors and all that happens whenever there's a hire being made, a significant, something like a retirement, just a news event, that Nebraska even expected or thought it was a possibility that it could keep something like that quiet for really 2 days. Cook went to Troy Dannon, the AD, and this is a lot of the stuff in the article was said last Thursday at Cook's retirement press conference. And then there were a few things that I gathered from interviews outside, talking to various people. It was enjoyable to talk to Kirsten Bernthal Booth, because she was with Danny and John at the League One volleyball Omaha versus Madison match. Danny had players on the court. Kirsten had players on the court. John had players on the court. They were there on Friday night, like right as before the day before Danny then went and talked to Troy Dannon and Kristen Brown in Lincoln. And yeah, they had about 48 hours where Nebraska on an administrative side had to tell a lot of people and get people included and involved so they could handle the announcement and do the contracts and things like that. And somebody asked me this morning after the story came out, why was it so important to keep it secret? And it was because of the players.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't want the players on the Louisville team or the Nebraska team to find out about this from the internet, or from, some kind of a rumor that was spreading around town. That was very important to Troy, and it was important to Danny. And I think it was important to the athletic director, Josh Haired at Louisville. So they pulled it off, and it was a surprise to everybody. And then the other piece, as you mentioned, Connor, was like just the emotional side of this. And as has been documented, John Cook has a unique connection, a deeper relationship with Harper Murray because of what her last year has been like, and her background too. Lost her father when she was 6 years old. This was a promise that John made to Sarah Murray when he recruited Harper, that he was going to take care of her. And so then to leave halfway through her career, that wasn't in the plans. But, coaches don't know when these things are always going to come up. And John felt it was the right time. He felt that she was in a good place now. And so there was the whole just kind of emotional roller coaster of figuring out how to let her know. And hearing from her mom was really cool. And I'm glad that Sarah was willing to kind of take us behind the scenes of that.
Have you seen a closer player-coach relationship than John Cook and Harper Murray?
Yeah, not that I can think of off the top of my head. We heard James Williams last year talk about Terrence Knighton. Never really got like the full explanation on what that was.
Oh yeah,
that's what I appreciate so much about Harper, because I don't know that it was James or Terrence who were keeping that under wraps somewhat, but Nebraska was not willing to, as a football program, was not willing to put them in the spotlight and allow that to become some big story. And I understand that, like, things can get out of control if you let it happen. What I appreciate about Harper and John to some degree in this situation, but with her, is that she's been so open and transparent and has been willing to say that she made mistakes and there were reasons for it, not excuses, but reasons why it went down that road last year, and that she did a lot of damage herself to her relationships with the team, and that she had to work to repair that. And she's just continued to be open about all of that and wanting to share her story. And there's a lot of times in college sports and pro sports today where these high profile athletes, but they don't need to do that. There are ways that they can just stay protected and stay safe, and not have to worry about getting criticized, because every time she talks about anything involving her story, like, there are going to be trolls who come out and criticize her. Either people who just don't know, or who don't want to know, or who do know and just want to be jerks. And so she has to deal with that. But for her, it's a net positive to share her story and try to help other people and just let people know where she's coming from. That's the kind of person, she's if you know Harper a little bit, I think you kind of know her a lot. You get to it's all out there. So, and you can see that on social media, and you can see a little bit of where she gets that from in chatting with her mom.
Mitch Sherman from The Athletic is with us. You can catch that story. That is up now today. Now, the other news this week for Nebraska football, we're still sort of sifting through all the things that Rule had to say on Saturday, but he talked about special teams, and I know my reaction to that was like, oh, that was kind of an odd answer. And then the slate was sort of wiped clean on Monday when they reportedly hired Mike Eckler to coach their special team. So how do you sort of put those things together, and how do you feel like Nebraska is positioned to actually finally make this thing work on special teams with their new hiring?
Yeah, it made sense on Monday that Rule wasn't overly concerned, or what hadn't. He's handing this off to Mike Eckler.
Totally.
And Mike, and that's okay. I heard a lot of conversation in the last month, longer than a month, because we've known that special teams was a problem at Nebraska for much longer than a month. But I've heard a lot of conversation about, like, what should Matt Rule do here? How should he handle this? Like, he should get involved. Like, Matt Rule should be the head coach of the special teams. Look at what Bill Snyder did in all of his time at Kansas State. Look at what Bo Pelini did when special teams was bad under him. He just kind of took it over. Well, and that's not really Matt Rule. Like, Matt Rule doesn't run the offense. He doesn't run the defense. He's not going to run the special teams. Like, he's going to put people in positions that he trusts, and he's going to continue to do what he does that makes him a good head coach. Like, his strengths aren't changing. He's not just going to start running the operating the scheme of the coverage unit. Like, that's not what he does as a head coach, who he is. And he I think feels comfortable now. We haven't talked to him since the Eckler hire was made. I mean, maybe the hire had been made Saturday, but he wasn't in a position to comment on it. He feels comfortable just handing it off and saying, all right, Mike, you do your thing. Like, he's got the ingredients that they need in a special teams coordinator, with just his energy and the passion that he has for that part of the game. And he's not going to be satisfied with anything other than Nebraska being one of the best teams in the country in special teams. So none of this junk about, oh, it's just a neutral part of the game. We just want to break even and tread. That's not what they want. That is not in any way what Mike Eckler stands for when it comes to anything in football or his life, but definitely in coaching special teams. That's his area of expertise. And what he did at Tennessee the last 4 years speaks for itself. They were very good. And in the return game, in avoiding the kinds of gaffes that we saw at Nebraska this year, and being able to win games or put themselves in spots to win games with that phase.
It's interesting, Mitch, that there's a common theme there that connects what Nebraska's done this offseason. I think Matt Rule handed the keys over to Dana Holgorsen, and I think he handed the keys over to Mike Eckler. Defensively, he elevated John Butler, and Matt Rule is always going to be involved in the defense, but I think to a certain extent, Phil Snow is there to help oversee a little bit of what they do as an extension of Matt Rule on the defensive side as well. Yeah. What does that tell you about how Matt Rule now views himself as the head coach and the different challenges that he is now going to take on?
Yeah. I mean, he's taking the CEO thing to a new level, yes. I guess. But he's going to be involved in all of those areas, just not involved in a he's on the ground, like drawing up plays kind of way. And if there's any part of the team where he would potentially do that, it's the defense.
Yes.
But on the defense, as you said, he has, John Butler is an experienced coach. He's a somewhat inexperienced coordinator. He's had some experience with it and filled that role at Penn State for a year, but most of his time has been as a secondary coach, and we got a taste of it in the Pinstripe Bowl. But the fact that Rule has surrounded Butler with the likes of Phil Snow and Addison Williams, who was a good special teams coordinator in his time at UCF. And then you have multiple coaches, and they've beefed up their defensive coaching staff, like added positions, like among the front 4 or 5. I'm not going to play a 5-man front, but there's times where the outside linebackers will come up. There's times where they will be in a 4-man front. Just the front part of the defense. So let's just call it the front 6 to 7. If it's 3-3-5, it's 6. If it's 3-4-4-3, it's 7. They've got 4 coaches for that group. They've got Terry Braden, Phil Simpson, Phil Snow, who's going to coach some of those edge rushers, and then Rob Dvorak. So that's almost double, or maybe it is double what Nebraska's had as far as coaching manpower at those spots in the past. And that's a theme throughout the defense. Like, they're going to attempt to leave no stone unturned. And that's kind of I think that's how you make up for what with Holgorsen and Eckler. They've got guys who've done it at a high level and succeeded. With Butler, it's let's see what he's got. Well, there's a safety net there, and then you've got people all around him who know what they're doing.
All right, Mitch, we will let you go. Appreciate you taking the time as always. Be safe out there. We'll talk to you soon.
Okay. Thanks a lot.
Mitch Sherman from The Athletic. Like I said, you could check out his story on the little behind the scenes on the transition of power from John Cook to Danny Busboom Kelly. It's funny you mentioned Kirsten Bernthal Booth, the coach at Creighton, on there. She had a funny one. She told Mitch that when they were all at the Love volleyball game, a couple days before all this kind of broke out, Bernthal Booth turned to Busboom Kelly and joked, "Are you ready for this when you come back?" And Booth said, "I didn't know that she probably already knew that she was a week away from being that person." But I think that gives you a pretty good sense of how quickly things, when they realize, okay, John Cook's not going to, he's not going to be here anymore. He's going to retire. Like, who's our next person? It was pretty obvious and immediate that it was going to be her. All right, we'll be back. Josh has the odd news when we return on 1620 The Zone.
And now we've reached the point in the show where Josh Odson reads the peculiar, the bizarre, the comical, the odd news with Odd Son. Odd news, Odd Son. See what we did there? The odd news with Oddson.
All All right, don't forget, we need your opinions coming up. We'll open that up in about 10 minutes for I Have an Opinion. Send in your opinions any way you'd like to get in touch with the show, and we will find them.
That's how the segment works.
That's right. We just read them, and then we kind of grade them. We're like, I don't think I like that opinion, or, oh, I really love that opinion, or somewhere in between. But first, Josh, the odd news.
The Dallas Mavericks in the news once again.
Fast here.
They've aired yet again. They don't know how many times Anthony Davis has been an All-Star.
Yeah, I saw this graphic.
They said like 9-time
All-Star.
All-Star.
Actually, no, it was 10.
Anthony Davis took it upon himself to comment on the post. Asterisk, 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 10-time All-Star.
Good job by the Mavericks.
Good job. Good job. Yes.
They really the more time goes on, and it's only been a couple days, the more you really believe they're trying to tank and sell the team theory, because there's no way you could actually be this bad.
Mm-hmm.
So
at just having a new guy on your roster.
Whatever.
Truck spill of the week.
Hello.
In South Florida, a truck spilled gallons and gallons and gallons of milk on Ian in Palm Beach County, causing the bottom of the truck to be ripped off just after midnight on January 29th. As a result, 4,160 gallons of bottled milk fell onto the highway. Pictures from firefighters show the highway full of crates and jugs scattered about the pavement. They also show the heavily damaged truck with the front part on its side. 11 people evaluated on the scene, nobody hurt, so we're allowed to make weird puns like these.
Yes.
Thankfully, they were uninjured and none of them needed to be moved.
Okay.
That's what the firefighters said about that. That's just not me being an idiot, okay?
Firefighters said that?
Yeah, the cleanup took almost 3 hours after the cream emergency. That's not even a good pun.
That's horrible. I was wondering if it froze, like how close are you to having an ice cream road?
Oh, no, that's interesting. You probably have
so you need like whole milk, you need some cream,
you need some air, you
need some sugar, some vanilla extract,
churn it.
And all of a sudden you got ice cream road. Mm-hmm. That sounds like a dream to me.
Yeah. And finally, have you heard about eggs, Connor?
They're expensive.
They are very expensive.
I went to Costco because I've said this before. Like, I don't really look at the prices of stuff when I buy stuff.
Sure. I need eggs. I buy eggs.
I buy eggs, right? I'm not going to not buy eggs just because they're more expensive. I'll be mad about it, but like, I figured the way to
Connor's got egg money.
I figured the way to like not trigger myself about the prices of things is just to not care.
You're right,
because I still need the things, right? So I went up and I bought a giant thing of eggs from Costco a week or two ago, and the guy was like, "Did you check your eggs?" And I was like, "No, I guess I didn't. I forgot. I for whatever reason I didn't check my eggs that time." He's like, "You're gonna want to check your eggs because eggs are now basically like I can't remember what he said, a gallon of gas or something like, or whatever he said." He's like, "That's worth a lot of money," and I'm like, "Okay, well, I'll check my eggs. They weren't cracked. Thanks."
Good. Police are scrambling to identify a poacher who stole 100,000 organic eggs from a Pennsylvania protein producer.
Dude, that's a lot of money.
Cops estimated the street value of the eggs to be around $40,000 and growing every day.
Like, still though, it's not that much. It's not that, like it's growing every day.
Mm-hmm.
But it just feels like a lot of work for $40,000. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Doesn't it? It's just like a lot of merchandise, a lot of load that you got to carry for $40,000 of
what
payoff.
A heist! And you got to be careful with the cargo too. You can't just like
throw
it into the back of a truck.
Yeah, I try to steal something a little less delicate,
a little more durable. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Josh.
Thank you, Connor.
And there was a quick edition of the odd news. So get your opinions in. I have an opinion on a Wednesday. I cannot wait. I can't believe it. Coming up next on 1620 The Zone.
This is the I Have an Opinion song. Haven't done an intro yet. Need to get on that.
Yeah. All right, poll question up at Happer Show. Would you steal 100,000 eggs for $40,000? Apparently, some people heard our last segment and they were, amazed by the things that I was saying about the work that you would have to put in just for a measly $40,000 catch at the end of the day. Just feel like, 100,000 eggs, a couple days worth of planning. And with the risk of, like Josh said, going to jail, and the guy asks you, your cellmate asks you, hey, what are you in for here, man? And you go, well, I stole 100,000 eggs. And he's like, oh, wow, that must be worth a lot of money. He's like, no, it's worth $40,000. And it's like, oh, okay, that doesn't seem like that much. That's not as good of a heist story as I thought it was going to be. And then you're the guy who pulled off a weak heist in jail.
If you hold on to those babies, you hold on to them for like 2 months, those eggs are going to keep climbing. It's expected to go up 20%.
So how long do the eggs last?
That's a good question.
I don't think I've ever reached like the limit of like, oh, my eggs are probably expired by now. Does that even happen?
Yes, it does.
What's the shelf life?
3 to 5 weeks or about a year in the freezer.
Freezing eggs?
Well, just to keep
Josh, you freezing eggs?
No.
Okay. All right. So if you have an opinion on that, you can let us hear it. M. Bigley has many opinions on the YouTube today. So keep sending those in. We'd love to hear the opinions.
Yeah, you send us an opinion, we read it on the radio. It's pretty simple. Please start all of your opinions with I have an opinion.
That's right. That's where we start from the 402 today on the text line.
Hi, 402.
I have an opinion. This Sunday's Super Bowl halftime show will be the worst of all time.
Wow.
Rap and hip hop is still not a universally accepted genre, or as Alex Turek would say, genre. Amongst
Canadian.
Everyone. And you have to remember the rating numbers on this are predicted to be the highest of all time, olds obviously included. I predict there will be tons of panned reviews posted, and there's no way our president will be able to help himself from making a wildly racist comment about the performance.
Correct about that last sentence.
No doubt. Whether it's intentional or unintentional.
Now, good thing the NFL has ended racism.
That's true.
It's not a problem.
Mission
anymore.
accomplished.
Yep.
Stand down.
Hang the banner. So this is not the first hip hop artist to perform at the Super Bowl halftime show. People are used to this by now, right?
I think what the texter is saying is, given our political climate at the moment,
that's fair.
Maybe it's not, maybe it won't be, maybe it usually wouldn't be really well received, but this time you're going to hear about it.
Okay. It's
because of our political climate.
Okay. Now, I don't know if it's going to be as good of like a theatrical visual show as the Weeknd or Dr. Dre and his cast of characters. I don't know if he's going to. I don't know what he's going to do.
I think he's
do
just
as
gonna,
much as Usher did last year.
He's just going to call Drake a pedophile a bunch of times and then leave.
Yeah, he's just going to sing "Not Like Us" 5 times.
Yeah, I mean, is there a log sheet of the bet sheet about what's his first song?
What songs will play?
That's the first song. Pretty much guaranteed at this point.
Here for it.
I don't know. I've heard that song too many times.
This is the Super Bowl.
You love when people throw shade at people. Like you do. You love beefs.
Let's get a little messy. Let's say some stuff. Why do we have to go out here and just like kill time for 4 hours? Why don't we say some stuff?
I'm over this beef.
Oh, I'm over that beef. I just think it's hilarious that
you want Kendrick to pile on.
A diss track has been elevated to the Super Bowl. Drake walked into an arena last night with
smoking. He was smoking.
He was smoking, and his sweater had bullet holes in it.
He wasn't smoking. He was smoke was coming off of him.
Yes.
Yeah.
That
was pretty cool.
That's not a metaphor. That's not like, oh, he was so mad at Kendrick winning all those Grammys. No,
he had a shirt on.
It was a stunt.
Had bullet holes on it, and then he walked out of like an elevator or a sliding door, and there was smoke coming off of him. And I thought that was super cool, actually.
He did
that was badass.
He did a I'm a loser intro, like just attending a basketball game.
I know.
Look at me. I'm a loser.
Yeah. Kendrick keeps yelling at me. It's like I've been shot many times.
He's waving the white flag. Now, his character in Degrassi did get shot.
That's true. I love hip hop halftime shows, and I prefer them to most of the others.
Well, we're of an age that would enjoy such a thing.
That's true. I'm not an old.
My parents will definitely ask, now who is this gentleman?
I got an opinion here via text. I have an opinion that Connor must be a trust fund baby because he couldn't care less about the price of eggs, groceries in general, or $40,000.
Look, don't be using the things we say against us.
I'm not rich. I just don't get stressed out about the things that I can't control.
He needs the eggs.
I'm going to get the eggs.
Yes.
I will pay for the eggs. So why would I just purposefully trigger myself about the price of it?
Avocados are expensive. I don't need the avocados.
Exactly.
I'll leave them.
It's the same thing with gas. When gas got really expensive,
right?
Like you can't avoid looking at the price of gas because it's plastered all over everywhere. But if I could at all, I try to not pay attention to it, just because like I'm going to get the gas and I'm going to get the same amount of gas that I would. I fill up my tank of gas every single time. So I'm not like. You prioritize the things you prioritize, and like I gotta have eggs and I gotta have gas. You know why I gotta have eggs? Because I gotta have my casserole.
You're casserole man. You doing that every weekend?
I want to.
Okay.
I want to. I want to make a casserole and just eat it every day.
You strike me as
I made a casserole 2 Sundays ago, and I ate it like until Thursday of the next week, and it was sick. It was awesome.
You do strike me as
that was when I bought the eggs.
It is Saturday morning. I'm making breakfast kind of dad. Like, I know that's a very like vague thing to wrap your brain around, but
it takes a minute to get me there because I'm not like a huge fan of breakfast.
I'm not at all, really.
But
I enjoy breakfast foods, but generally I'm not hungry in the morning, and I understand that
we made a casserole for a friend of mine because they just had a kid. And so we brought the casserole over to their house, and then we shared the casserole with them, and we hung out with our babies. And I was like, damn, that casserole is good. I want to make a casserole and have it for myself and my family. And so I did that the next week. And so this weekend might be my 3rd casserole in 3 weeks. It's going to be awesome. But I need the eggs. I need the gas. I'm not rich. I'm a poor, poor man.
Now, if you owned a business and wanted Connor to be rich, you could call somebody in the building and be like, I would like to make Connor rich by having him talk about my business on the radio.
You could make yourself as rich as you want to be. You could always do takes on YouTube and make more money.
Yes, I've heard of this thing where people...
It's great.
You say something on YouTube and you get a check in the mail for it.
Yeah, it's incredible stuff.
I've heard that it can be monetized.
It's incredible. Okay, what else do we have?
Oh, we've got so many opinions, and I will read them.
What was that phone call about, by the way?
There was a typo in the paper the other day.
And they called you?
Yes.
What'd you say? You were going to call the World Herald?
It was a very funny typo.
Oh, what were they trying to say?
They were trying to say Will Bolt, and they said Coach Frost.
Oh, no. All right, we'll have to let Evan Bland know.
EB, get on it. Carson with an opinion. I have an opinion. After watching my daughter train in gymnastics the last few years, it's clearly one of the top 5 most difficult sports to master.
Oh, God, yes.
Yeah.
Now, there is like a you either have it or you don't situation with that, I think.
Right.
Like my body and the way it's constructed and my flexibility it's a non-starter. It just doesn't work. You know, when they would do the tests in gym class as a kid, they would test your flexibility, and you have to try and connect your arms. You know, remember that one, Josh?
Yes.
You put your left arm behind your back, and you put your right hand over your head, and you have to like connect your hands. I had to have set the record for the least close anyone has ever been. I have no flexibility whatsoever. So like it was never going to be a gymnast. I didn't know that in the moment, but I was never going to be a gymnast. And nor did I really want to be, fortunately. But if I had this dream to be a gymnast, it would have been hard to break the news to me. It's like, no, you can't be, because your body doesn't work for it. Being a gymnast, so you have to have that, and you got to be really talented, obviously. What are you laughing at?
Okay, so
what are you laughing at?
Well, first of all, we're getting texts from the same person. Those are funny. But also, while you were talking to Mitch, I texted Frank Caliendo, a close personal friend.
Hey, heard you coming to Omaha, bud.
You want to know what it said?
What Frank said?
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
Frank, you're coming back to Omaha. Are we going to get to talk to you again? Yes. I'm actually going to be in town for the UConn game, too. Don't know if I can get there to you next Tuesday, but I'm going to practices. I can call in.
He loves Creighton basketball.
He loves it so much.
He's seen more Creighton basketball games than most Creighton basketball fans this year. It's amazing. All right, back to the text line. I have an opinion. This is a football-related opinion.
A football opinion. Those are allowed.
The special teams will be better this year by default due to the roster reductions, making it necessary to use scholarship players instead of walk-ons. The personal talent on special teams will be better all around. The personnel talent, I think that person means. Love the show, Derek. That was Derek.
Thanks, Derek. That was kind of my theory on it, but a lot of people told me I might be an idiot for thinking that.
Well, like, it doesn't... Eckler was using...
SEC talent.
No, he was using walk-ons and guys like that too. He was using guys far down the roster to be good at special teams.
Okay,
so
I like that.
Like, I think it's probably a win-win. It's like Nebraska was playing like the last dudes on their roster on special teams that's not why they were bad. They just sucked at it. Why can't we just admit these things to ourselves?
It's all the long snappers' fault.
No, it's actually not.
I heard it is.
That's what people are trying to get you to believe. Here's a text. I have an opinion. Super Bowl parties are overrated.
Great take.
Yeah, it's pretty broad, but I'm with you. Like I'm okay with other people having their Super Bowl parties. It's just not for me. I like the football game too much.
Never again.
I like the football game too much. I'm sorry. I know other people like. So then if I'm going to Super Bowl party, you know that you're going to be surrounded by people who don't watch football. Some people who do watch football, some people who don't watch football. And they're there for different reasons and they want to see different things.
Sure.
And
sure.
It's like,
that's a real thing. And that's fine.
Yeah. So I generally agree with that opinion. Jasker Todd writes in.
Hi, Jasker Todd.
I have an opinion. I feel offended by the 1620 commercial that says, for you Jays, you Huskers, and even you Jayskers.
It is a little derogatory towards the Jayskers.
Even you Jayskers.
You.
That's Jasker Todd who writes that into the show.
Even you dirty, filthy Jayskers.
We can take it, Jasker Todd.
Yeah.
We're strong.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Our skin is thickened up over time.
Jasker Todd also follows up and says, JK, love the show. Thank you for texting. I have an opinion from Alex and Lincoln on the eggs.
Hi, Alex.
Screw that. How are you going to sell that many eggs? That's another great follow-up.
Yeah, you just going to buy eggs from a guy?
No.
No.
Are you going to sell them at a discount to the grocery store? Because you got them for free because you stole the eggs. Are you going to sell them back to a grocery store?
Are you rolling up to the Waffle House?
At that point, your return is less than $40,000. I wouldn't settle. I would never do a heist if I wasn't making $100,000.
6 figures minimum.
That's my minimum for heist. You can hire me for a heist, but my guaranteed minimum is $100,000. I will not do a heist for anything less. It's just not worth it. Maybe you could tell me, maybe you could say 75. I'll do it for 75, but you'd have to convince me that it was going to be easy money at the end of the day.
I'd like to read an opinion from Baymon on the YouTube stream.
Baymon.
I have an opinion. If ham is the water of meat, then Colby Jack is the water of cheese. No flavor. It brings nothing to the party.
Dude, I got a thing of Colby Jack in my little refrigerator drawer right now. because I'm really rich and I have a refrigerator that is a refrigerator, and then there's a separate drawer for like the lunch meat and the cheese and stuff like that.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what happens when you're really rich.
Brag.
I'll
bet your fridge makes water too.
Yeah, but I don't drink the water out of it because I'm so rich and I have an ice maker and a Brita.
Wow.
And I had this exact thought the other day because I've been on this casserole thing and we got a big old thing of Colby Jack, the shredded, like prepackaged Colby Jack. And I'm like, what is going on here? It's nothing. This is a great take by Bayamon.
Mm-hmm. That's why I wanted to get it out there.
I want my cheese to have some cheese to it. I want some stank on it.
Yeah, that's right.
Like my beer, you know? I want it to taste like beer. I don't want it to taste like Kool-Aid. Like people are always making the crazy, you know, whatever beer that tastes like bubble gum. I'm like, no, I don't want it to taste like bubble gum. I have bubble gum for that. I want it to taste like beer. I want my cheese to taste like cheese.
Yeah.
Not nothing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dave on the YouTube stream.
We have so many opinions.
Yeah, they're flying in.
Yeah.
I have an opinion. Being a Rob Lowe NFL fan is vastly superior to being a diehard fan of one team.
It's so much fun. I love my life.
Mm-hmm. Now
I'm rich. I have so much money, and I have no favorite NFL team. Thus, I don't have to live in pain and agony. It's amazing.
Now, this runs directly counter to Sal's opinion on YouTube. I have an opinion. Connor needs to commit to an NFL team on air, and we all need to stop enabling this lack of sports fandom.
You guys always say, I mean, Severe went on the whole diatribe yesterday about how you pick a team when you're 10 and then you just stick with it. Great. I didn't pick a team when I was 10. So what am I? Am I going to go in and pick a team now? No. It would be disingenuous of me.
It would be front running or like
a Nick Grimm situation.
Yeah, where I'm a Panthers fan.
It's like I just like the Dolphins because of a dolphin.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like no, I'm not gonna fake it.
I like their costumes; they're very pretty.
I couldn't fake it at this stage of the game. You know, like I couldn't add to my life. Like if I just wanted to be a Texans fan tomorrow, I couldn't all of a sudden start like living and dying by the Texans and reading all the Texans stuff and like following the Texans reporters on Twitter. Like I couldn't do it. It would be, I'm at capacity of sports, and this is how I've chosen to intake my sports in my life. People have different opinions on this. But you know, I don't really live and die by too, like I work for some of my favorite teams. It's great. It's amazing. Except for the Royals. I hate the Royals, but I love them.
I just don't know how you, at 10, you weren't like, man, I love football. I'm going to pick a football team.
I didn't grow up in a football house.
Okay.
I didn't grow up in an NFL house. I didn't grow up in a football house. Just never, the NFL was never a thing for me until I started to play like fantasy football, and like, I was like, oh, this red zone thing's cool. I'm going to watch this. And that's, like my love for the NFL is pretty new over the last, I don't know, decade or so. I don't think I just tangentially paid attention before that.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, Travis writes in, I totally understand, Connor, but you need to suffer like the rest of us. See, I wouldn't suffer. That's the thing. Even if I fake picked a team right now, I wouldn't.
Because it wouldn't be real
It
love.
wouldn't be real pain.
There
needs to be real stakes. Like when you go steal 100,000 eggs and potentially only get $40,000 worth of profit, which is not enough.
No stakes there.
I have an opinion from the text line. MLB All-Star Week is better than the Pro Bowl and NBA All-Star Week. Yeah, I think everybody agrees with that. There's not even a real thing there, right?
Yeah.
It's way better.
NBA Saturday night can be fun. It is less fun in recent years with the children nobody's ever heard of in the dunk contest.
Yeah. Shout out to Mac McClung again. Aaron writes in.
Hi, Aaron.
I have an opinion. I do believe Nebraska might have the worst weather or top 5 in the world.
What?
And it prepares you for anything, but it also pretty much is a tease.
Oh, okay.
At the best and the woat at the woat. You get everything besides a literal hurricane, but I've seen 100-mile-an-hour straight line winds So some of that too. So Aaron's opinion is Nebraska has the worst weather period ever, period.
Now, the meteorologists always talk about, the Midwest is really coveted because you get all 4 seasons. It's like San Diego is not a coveted job for weathermen because it's very easy to do, 75 and sunny today.
Well, I'm not a weatherman. Why do I care about a weatherman?
Right.
I hear that phrase like, so that perpetuates from from the weatherman community into the public society. And they're like, I like my seasons. It's like, no, you actually don't.
Yeah.
Then why are you going to Arizona in January?
I really don't like seasons. I thought I did.
I want it to be 75 all the time.
Yeah.
So it's never 75 here. So by that logic, then Aaron, you might have a point. This might be as bad as it gets. Even when it's good, it's not that good.
Now, like, I don't want to say the thing that we're all thinking. Everyone in their car right now is going, well, it hasn't. I don't want to say it. I don't want to say it yet.
Snowed in a while?
Whoa, hey. Whoa. Don't jinx it.
Text from the 308.
308.
Well, Ad and I have an opinion to this. I have an opinion. Straight Monterey Jack cheese pairs really well with a Belgian double and makes great beer cheese soup.
Oh, wow. Now, soup, I'm out.
You're out on soup?
Yeah.
Period?
Yes, we've been over this.
How could you shut off an entire subcategory of things? Soup.
I have teeth. I'm at the top of the food chain.
You can eat soup.
Really?
Yeah. You ever heard of chowder? You ever heard? No. Gross. Never do that again. You ever heard of chowder?
I've heard of chowder.
Yeah. You don't just drink the chowder. You would choke and die like Rick Pitino.
I want to have a nice.
I want to kill myself, jump in the cold and die of frostbite.
Big old chunks of potato and clam in there. You can't swallow that crap. You'll die.
Why do I want potato and clam?
Because it's good. Clam chowder is awesome. Josh, get you some clam chowder.
Have you smelled clam chowder?
Yeah, I love clam chowder. I don't know how to explain this to you any more clear than what I am. I love it.
Disgusting.
It's not disgusting.
Yet another terrible food take.
You are a child because you're like, oh, clams? Really? It's a fish, or it's a little. It comes from the ocean, and I can't smell it. I can't eat it.
I love fish. I love shrimp.
You love shrimp. Shrimp doesn't count as a seafood.
Why?
Shrimp is what the children say when they say, I like seafood.
Okay. No, I agree with you on that. Yeah.
Josh Peterson says, I really like shrimp.
I love seafood. I eat popcorn shrimp all the time. Yeah. I'm Josh Peterson.
No, you don't like seafood. That's not seafood. That's not seafood. But congratulations on expanding your palate. Finally, that has reached the ocean.
It's like a chicken tendy, but fish.
Josh, I'm going to bring you a clam chowder.
You bring me a clam chowder, I will slap you in the face like Will Smith.
No, you'll love it. It'll be good. We'll try clam chowder on the show one day. Let's have a chowder contest.
No.
Yes.
No, I'm not joking. I will not do that.
Do the crossover and we'll do a taste test, whatever, and we'll all have a bowl of chowder.
Crumble some crackers in it?
Well, you don't have to. I prefer not to.
Mine would need to be all crackers.
That's so stupid. I don't even believe in the crackers in the soup thing, by the way.
If I am drinking my dinner, it needs to be from a bottle that has a bunch of red wax all over it.
All right. We're going to make Josh eat chowder. That's the new goal of this show.
You want to watch me puke at work again?
Kind of.
Okay.
Pedro writes in, by the way, thanks for the chicken, Pedro.
Thank you. That was so clutch.
Even though I had a bummy tummy afterwards.
Oh, no.
I ate too much chicken in a short period of time.
You did not participate in the crossover. You just stood there and ate chicken.
I also ate half of the canister of rice, too. Well, anyway, thank you, Pedro. Hi, guys. I have an opinion. St. John's will shake hands in their home court. Win or win. I don't know what that means.
No.
Were they shaking hands last night after the Marquette game? I didn't notice.
They're out. They're germaphobes.
Venmo Chris.
Hi, Venmo Chris.
Connor has a point. I picked my team at age 6 because green was my favorite color, and I was told they had cheese heads. I was tricked by a drunk old man in 1996.
There is something to that. The team I picked in my youth is not the team I would have picked as an adult.
Let's see. Alex and Lincoln, I want to see Josh puke again for the content.
Poll question.
Aaron writes in, we had to convince Josh Peterson's soup is great. Horrible opinions from the Joshes on this. Holy hell. Connor has never had a worse food take than this. Pho, chowder, chicken tortilla, bad. Well, Aaron is out on soup too.
Many are saying
Chicken tortilla soup, like chicken tortilla soup, the arguably one of the whitest of the soups.
The whitest of the soups.
Yeah. Like it's chicken noodle and probably chicken tortilla.
Yeah,
They're so good. I love soup.
No.
Hayden says, I have an opinion. Clam chowder is the worst seafood to have ever existed, and I know seafood. I'm an Alaskan native and Native American.
Well, all right.
I don't know what being Native American has anything to do with. The Alaskan part helps in the seafood conversation.
Definitely.
Maybe I'm missing something in that regard. Wow. So this is our listeners are anti-chowder?
Sure seems that way.
That is crazy.
Many people on my side.
Brian says clam chowder is awesome.
What does Brian know?
El Scorcho says go to Shucks and get their clam chowder. It'll change your life.
I do love eating at Shucks. Absolutely fresh.
Nick says, I have an opinion.
Hi, Nick.
Tonight is a primetime letdown spot for Nebraska ball. As a fan for over 20 years, this just seems like the type of the game we won't bring the fire or effort needed. Hope I'm wrong.
Yeah, boy, it'd be really embarrassing if I came on the radio tomorrow and got to talk about a Nebraska loss.
It's definitely an opportunity to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But I have faith. I have faith. Another text here from the 402.
Okay. Hi, 402.
I have an opinion. I'd bathe in beer cheese.
I would not.
I would prefer not to.
Beer cheese, very good. Would not bathe in it.
What's the difference between beer cheese and cheese?
Beer?
Yeah, but like, does it taste different?
I very rarely
people
get,
start just dumping beer into stuff, and I'm like, I don't notice this.
I don't taste it.
Why would I waste a beer on cheese?
Oh, we got to get some beer canned chicken going. We got to get some beer canned chicken going. It doesn't taste like beer.
I could just as easily pour that beer in my mouth, and it does a way better job of getting me to where I want to go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Dave on the YouTube stream again, back with us in search of the whitest soup that there is.
It's chicken noodle.
White chicken chili is the whitest of the soups.
Okay, Dave's right. But I always say that chili is soup, or chili is chili. Chili's not soup.
Okay,
chili is chili.
That's a fair distinction.
I don't think of chilies in the soup. No, what is your opinion on chili, Josh?
They're both garbage foods for garbage people.
Chili and soup?
Yeah.
Wow. We got to get you on a soup. We got to get you on some soup, Josh. Josh,
I would
eats
never.
Soup.
What a bit.
I don't get it. What is your thing with soup?
I have teeth. I want to chew my food.
You can chew it. You can use your teeth.
Maybe there's a local establishment that is listening right now that's like, wow, I'm a restaurateur. I make excellent soup. I would sponsor a segment where Josh eats soup.
If that was the case, would you eat soup? Because last time I said I would bring you a soup, you said you'd slap me in the face.
If it was sponsored, I guess I wouldn't have a choice.
You wouldn't slap our sponsor in the face?
I would never.
Okay.
I would help them build their business.
Venmo, Chris says,
hi, VC.
Chowder, barely know her.
All right.
Aaron writes in, here I wanted to cancel Trump the most, but Josh and his chili takes are making me rethink. Chili literally does need to be chewed. Yes, you can't swallow these soups and get out alive, Josh. Not all of them. Not many of them. Like there's chicken noodle soup. What do you think? Like it's not just soup; it's chicken and noodle in the soup. You're gonna swallow the chicken and noodle?
I'd love for this noodle to be so mushy that people without teeth could eat it. No, I like a chew in my noodle. I don't need some mushy noodle.
A chew in your noodle.
It has to be toothsome.
The only way that you could potentially swallow the noodle whole is because it is slimy from the like it's wet from the soup.
Yeah, it's broken down.
The noodle construction is not any different than a regular pasta noodle.
I agree.
So chew it. What's your deal with chewing stuff?
I love chewing things.
Why do you need to chew stuff all the time?
Because my forefathers climbed to the top of the food chain, and we will stay there. You take a day off, and a big lion is chewing on your leg. Next thing you know,
and you think soup was put upon us by our underlings to make us seem weak?
That is correct.
Wow.
I petitioned Roger Goodell this week. I said, hey, I hear the back of the end zone is available now. I would like you to write end soup in one end zone and end chili in the other end zone. He said he'd get back to me, but I know deep down in my heart that Campbell's Chunky Soup is a proud partner of the NFL, so I'm probably not getting anywhere.
I have an opinion on the text line. Italian wedding soup doesn't taste like wedding.
Good take.
I think that's right. Okay, Josh, we're going to make you eat some soup.
Only if it's sponsored.
That's our new goal. Yeah. Get soup sponsored. Make soup sponsored 2025.
Or anything else.
Back after this on 1620 The Zone.
He gives you the latest sports news, interviews, and life-changing commentary with a smile on his face.
Because he wears those ticklish underpants. Let's get back to the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
All right, how long was that commercial break? Because I just was laughing the entire time on the comments from you all.
About 45 seconds.
Asking various questions about various things and commenting on Josh's. I don't know if we just now realized this. This might be the second time that we've talked about this idea that, well, we knew that Josh had a problem with soups, but have we ever got to the bottom of why before just now?
I mean, I don't know if we've really drilled it down.
But your whole thing is, I have teeth.
I have teeth. I don't like foods touching.
What if you didn't have teeth? What if you were old geezer?
Then I guess, yeah, I might need to become familiar with soup.
Somebody asked your opinion on stews.
I don't love it. I can
really
now.
So you prefer a stew to a soup?
Yes,
that is ridiculous.
With stew, there's generally some larger chunks of meat that, like, okay, if you have served me a stew, I can make it look like I'm eating this, and then get McDonald's on the drive home.
This is a bit, right?
I assure you, this is not a bit. I am a psychopath.
This is so weird. It fills you up just like all the other foods fill you up.
But you're working a lot harder than just ripping into a sandwich.
No, you're not.
Yeah.
You're spooning a spoon into your mouth. It's the
400 times before it's all gone.
Thing you learn how to do when you're a kid. Maybe here comes the airplane, and then eventually you grab the spoon yourself and you start eating the stuff off the spoon.
A second airplane has hit my child's mouth.
Okay. I don't.
Sometimes you just got to see if Chance is listening. Okay,
Chancey out there. We're not grunting the slate, by the way, today. Crecky says, Mama said alligators are so mean because they have all them teeth and no toothbrush. Bobby Boucher. That's right. Baymon writes in.
Hi, Baymon.
Lovely. I have to have another entire therapy session on Josh's soup and chili take, SMH.
I love Baymon. Great contributor to the Connor Happer Show. Baymon doesn't like pizza. So who's America going to side with? The guy who doesn't like pizza or the guy who doesn't like soup? I'm winning that one.
Texter from the 308 wonders about Josh's relationship with fondue.
I enjoy fondue.
Because you dip some. Why don't you just do that? Dip a bread in your soup. You can do that. People do that with their chowder. You can take a little slice, a little loaf of bread, and you dunk it in there.
Crusty bread.
Yeah.
Okay, there might be something there that maybe I should try as an adult now.
I mean, it's not really eating the soup, but it's getting the soup into your mouth. Jeff wonders if you're out on cereal as well.
You are not ready for this, but we're here. Dry cereal.
So it really,
I don't want my foods touched.
So really, this is a real thing.
Oh yeah, I told you again. This is not a bit.
So you eat dry cereal
That's
and
right.
you refuse soup and chili.
Yeah.
And the reasoning that you don't like cereal is not because quote I have teeth.
It is. I can chew the cereal.
But it is
I'd like to taste
instead because you don't like your foods touching. And in this case, your foods are cereal and milk.
I don't want that crunchy, beautiful cereal getting all soggy.
So don't let it. Eat it once you pour the milk on top of it, as God intended.
But then it's all wet.
Yeah, it's designed that way.
Do you just pour some Diet Coke on top of your spaghetti?
Josh, what do you like?
You don't.
You go scuba diving and you put on a wetsuit. And then you jump into the water and it gets all wet, right? Is it ruined? No, that's what it's made for. You freaking idiot. God.
We're learning a lot about each other today.
Texter says, eat your chili with Fritos scoops. There you go. I recently added more scoops.
No, No, if you give me a no bean chili and a big bowl of scoops, like maybe I could get through it. Sure.
All right, we're gonna give you some cheddar. That's what we're gonna do.
It better not smell.
It doesn't. It smells good. It's food. It's good, Josh. It's good.
I don't like the way you're saying good.
All right. Can we? I have like 3 or 4 minutes here.
Okay.
I had an NBA take. I was in my bed last night and I laid down.
I don't care. Nobody cares about the NBA. There, we got it out of the way.
No. But the people who don't care about the NBA will actually like this take.
Okay.
Because I thought about it and I was like, this doesn't make any sense. I had my eyes closed and then I go, whoa. I don't know what I was thinking about. That it was something with the Luka thing. But I had noticed yesterday that there was over the last 2 or 3 days, really, since the Luka trade, that all these NBA players had come out and said something along the lines of, nobody's safe, right? Are you going to trade me now?
I have heard this from a couple people.
That was weird. That hit me weird.
Incredibly weird.
I have seen a lot of that over the last 2 days. And then I thought to myself, since when do NBA players like playing basketball for the teams that they were drafted by again? When did this happen?
You've amassed so much power, which was your goal. You wanted player empowerment. It's gone so far that, you're always saying, I don't want to play here. I don't want to play today.
Since when do NBA players like playing basketball again, especially for the same team? You're telling me that NBA players don't want to be traded at this point? I don't know what you guys want. This is like from The Notebook. I don't know what you want.
How about some loyalty from the team?
So here's what I'm not trying to do.
Okay.
I am not trying to make the Luka trade a consequence of the player empowerment era. This is what I'm not trying to do.
Okay, I'm sorry. That's what I said.
Don't put it on the internet that I'm trying to do that. I'm not trying to do that. But I do find it odd. They're all talking about how there's no loyalty, and what have player empowerment era detractors or NBA detractors been saying for like the last 10 years now? What have they been saying? That exact thing. There's no loyalty. There's no loyalty. And now the NBA players are saying that there's no loyalty? Something's not adding up, Josh. I don't get it. That was my bedtime take last night.
Kendrick Lamar, Loyalty. That's a song he did with Rihanna, Connor.
Oh, yes. I believe it's called DNA. He has loyalty and royalty inside his DNA.
Yeah.
Yes. So get your facts straight, Josh. I know hip hop. I'm rich. I got a fridge with a cheese drawer.
All right. You can look that up during the break.
It's called DNA. Check it out. I bet you 100,000 eggs. Check it out. Go ahead.
Rihanna's a hard name to spell.
Tell
Kendrick
me
Lamar
what it
featuring
says.
Rihanna. Loyalty.
It's called DNA. Are we thinking of the same song?
Agree to disagree.
Are we thinking of the same song?
I believe so.
No,
we are not thinking of the same song.
Oh, okay. Well, then we're not thinking about the same song.
You're thinking of DNA. I'm thinking of
loyalty.
Loyalty.
Clearly. How's loyalty go?
They just say loyalty a whole bunch.
Like what? How do they say it?
Loyalty, loyalty, loyalty.
That was a good Kendrick.
Thank you. Had to be very careful.
That was a decent Kendrick. Sam writes in.
Hi, Sam.
You do often a liquid item based on your spaghetti.
Okay, bad example.
You like pasta, Josh?
I love pasta. I had some pasta
You
last
like
night.
You like to drain it in sauce? You like to just
Actually, no. I like.
Oh, you like dry pasta?
No. Well, actually, I did eat a lot of dry pasta last night once it was cooked.
What do you mean dry pasta? Like just noodles?
Yeah, we cooked it, and then I ate like an appetizer bowl full of noodles without any sauce, and then I went, okay, I gotta sauce these, and then I put just enough to coat the noodle of sauce.
Jacob Padilla chimes in on the NBA take.
Hi, Jacob.
He heard the NBA take, and he
like a siren
has awoken.
song.
Yes. Is Kevin Durant getting traded, by the way, today?
Yeah, are we doing this or not?
Because I'm confused what you don't get with the NBA thing. The player empowerment thing is about having more say in where you play. Forcing trades is only one side of that coin, and plenty of stars have chosen to not take that route. I don't know, but I hear people who detract from the NBA saying, there's no loyalty, right? They're like they all want trades all the time, and they all go to different teams and in free agency. Like, there's no doubt that has been, like Jacob said, one side of the in the last. I mean, when do we officially start the player empowerment era? When LeBron did the decision, that's always like the point in time where everyone's like, "Hey, this is our thing now."
Probably the inflection point most would use. Yeah,
right. I mean, that's kind of what it's kind of what I meant.
Is Kevin Durant getting traded? Is Jimmy Butler getting traded?
Jimmy Butler wants to be traded. But he has no loyalty inside his DNA.
Well, no, not that one.
No, we can't play that on the radio. We can't play it on the stream. All right, stop. You have to stop. Stop. We've heard enough. We'll hear enough on Sunday.
You ain't hearing that one on Sunday.
What if he said the bleep?
I had the closed captioning on, Connor, so
and
I knew
we're gonna get kicked off of
where he was
YouTube.
going. I got 4 seconds.
Sam follows up from his confusingly worded pasta tweet. Oof. The pasta tweet spelling grammar was texting while driving in the ice example.
Don't do that, Sam.
Yeah, put down your phone. Keep listening to the show, but just, make a mental log of all the things you were going to tweet at us, and then just do it when you arrive safely at your destination. We'll talk to Jacob about what the player empowerment era means to him tomorrow.
I misconstrued your take, so that.
What did you say? What did you?
Well, I said, oh, it's all player empowerment, and you said, well, no, that's actually the exact opposite of what I'm saying.
I'm not saying that it is a consequence of the player empowerment era, but I just find I just see a little imbalance there is all. I find what the NBA players have been saying over the last several days to be a bit ironic, is all. All right, we'll be back. Round out the hour. Don't forget, coming up at 1, we will talk Eagles with Chris Franklin. The Eagles are playing in the Super Bowl, Josh. That's why we're going to talk about the Eagles.
Oh, the Eagles are in there too?
Yes.
Interesting. Haven't heard anything about them.
Back after this on 1620 The Zone. Theo says Drake should sue Kendrick for defamation.
He's trying to sue his label for it.
That's what I'm saying. I'd be like, hey, where's the proof? And then hopefully he's bluffing. Because I do not actually want to see the proof if I'm Drake, if Kendrick has proof. Call the bluff. You could end up broke.
Nobody's come out and said, I know what's in Aubrey's heart.
It is, yeah. He needs more friends.
He does.
He needs more friends.
He does.
He's got to work on that a little bit.
Remember when LeBron was his friend?
Have they had a rough patch?
Well, LeBron can't be seen with Drake.
LeBron's too squeaky clean.
Yeah.
He is.
It's like, I'm sorry. No mas.
LeBron, unfortunately, his greatest crime is nepotism. For his son, who's not that good at basketball.
He's not.
How could LeBron have a son who's so ungood at basketball?
How can Michael Jordan have a son who's so not good at basketball and life?
But LeBron,
allegedly.
But Jordan had so many other stains on his career.
That's true.
Yeah, LeBron really hasn't had that. So we go to Bronny.
I learned it from copying you, Dad. The driving fast part, not the other stuff.
So Chris Franklin will join us here in just a couple minutes to talk about the Eagles. Creighton heads to Providence tonight. Providence. Pretty bird.
Get yourself a mutt cut while you're up there.
Yeah. I got worms all available for John Bishop tonight because he has to wait until a 8:30 Eastern tip this evening.
What do you do with a day to kill in Providence?
I don't know. What did I do with a whole day in a hotel in Chicago? 8 o'clock.
You watched TV in the hotel room.
I listened to my favorite sports talk radio shows on 1620 The Zone.
Wow.
And I ate.
But you weren't in Omaha. How'd you do that?
It was on YouTube.
Wow.
I watched it on YouTube.
The World Wide Web.
Yeah, it was amazing. And the other thing, so Rob Anderson had to explain this to me when I was on the road with the team last week. And was it last week? 2 weeks ago now? Whatever it was. And he goes, oh, so welcome to the road. All we do is eat. So there's like multiple times throughout the day where you just you gather and you eat. Maybe you watch some film and you eat. You find stuff to do in between. I had a game to prepare for, so I prepared for the game and then I ate. And I went to shoot around and then I ate. And then I prepared for the game and then I ate. And then I went to the game. Where? No, I didn't eat at the game. I ate enough before the game where I didn't have to eat during the game. So John will eat today. Hopefully he doesn't have to eat at I got worms. 7:30 tip central, 6 o'clock shoot around with our dear friend Austin. Creighton had one of the least stressful wins over Providence in their first meeting that I can recall with Creighton basketball in a while. It was just like after the game, I was like, huh, that was nice. It almost felt like you didn't really play a game at all. I mean, it was kind of choppy, a little up and down in the first half, but I think Providence jumped out to a lead. And then that was the game where Isaac Trout hit the nuclear like two minutes where he went 4 for 4. It was one of the more uneventful games that I could recall, certainly of this year. Providence is 5-6 in the league. They've only beaten DePaul, Seton Hall twice, Butler, and Georgetown. So nothing incredible on their resume. They did beat BYU earlier in the season, which is like an odd one. Definitely capable of heating up if Creighton isn't on their game. Creighton cannot turn the basketball over. Providence doesn't force many, less than Creighton. In fact, I didn't think there was very many teams in the country who forced less turnovers than Creighton. And Providence turns it over at a very high rate. You can't allow them to get those back. Providence is number 1 in the league in 3-point defense in conference at home. You ready? Yeah. How about that for a stat?
Okay. I think I follow.
Number 1 in the league in 3-point defense at home in conference. It's a hard place to play. Creighton has realized this over their last several trips to Providence. Pretty bird. They've not won at Providence since 2021, the early days of January of 2021.
Wow.
that game was on their tiny baby on-campus arena when they didn't have to have fans, so they just played it wherever. Like they could have played it on a blacktop or something like that. Nobody was there. Everybody was wearing masks, and I think there were virtual fans. It was odd. I was watching the highlights of it this morning. Creighton hasn't won at the Artist, formerly known as the Dunk, now the Amp, since December 31st, 2018. 2018 doesn't seem like a long time ago when you say it out loud, but it actually was a very long time ago.
Yeah.
Mitch Ballack played 38 minutes in that game and had 17 points. Tyshawn Alexander was on the team. Martine Crumple was on the team. Davion Mintz was on the team. Damian Jefferson, Marcus Zagorowski came off the bench. Christian Bishop was a freshman, I think, at that point in time. And Creighton was able to get their most recent win at the Dunk Amp.
Real ones call it the Dunk.
I would say it's still the Dunk. It's still dunk and roll to me, Josh.
That's right.
So we'll see. They will not bring the same energy they do when they play Georgetown in that building when they want to yell obscenities at Ed Cooley. But it's a great opportunity for Providence tonight, finally, to beat a decent team in the league and keep themselves. I mean, they're not going to the NCAA tournament or anything like that, but keep themselves, attached and engaged. And so I think if Creighton starts fast tonight, they should be able to take care of business. And the other thing I guess that concerns me a little bit for Creighton tonight is I don't think they've ever been really too guilty of this, or at least I can't recall too many times where they have. Their next three games are Marquette, UConn, and St. John's. Everybody's looking forward to Mark. I mean, but like you're going to find out a lot about yourself in the next 10 days.
Oh yeah.
And you're going to find out a lot about the conference in the next 10 days. There's a lot of those there's matchups with those four teams. So this is the game before that. It's on the road and it's a late night. And so there's some things that scare me. Creighton is certainly not incapable of losing this game. They are capable of losing this game, I should say.
Classic trap game.
Yeah, I think it's a landmine game for sure. Don't step there. But if they get through tonight, all eyes on Marquette on Saturday, and then UConn coming back on Tuesday, and then a trip to the Garden on Sunday of next week.
Just picture it. You win the game tonight.
Mm-hmm.
You hop back on the bus, and the bus driver turns around and he goes, "Why are you going to the airport?
You flying somewhere?" Yeah, hopefully they have a lot safer drive to the airport than Lloyd Christmas did that day.
Hopefully.
All right, we're back with Chris Franklin, who covers the Eagles. Talk some Super Bowl coming up, of course, presented by Moose Roofing and OSI Oakland. Coming up on 1620 The Zone.
Super Week on 1620 The Zone. Powered by Moose Roofing and OSI Oakland.
All right, welcome back. 1 o'clock hour of the Connor Happer Show here on 1620 The Zone and on 1620thezone.com. Joined now on the hotline by Chris Franklin, NJ.com, who has covered the Philadelphia Eagles among other teams this year. Chris, thanks for doing this. How are you?
Hey, thanks for having me on. I'm doing great. How about yourself?
Good. Let's start for the local people here in Nebraska with the Husker angle. I know you had a story recently about the sort of transition from Jason Kelce to Cam Jurgens. It seems like that. I don't know what your feeling was before the season on how that was all going to play out, but it seems like it's played out beyond anybody's, or I guess prior to last season, on how it's played out. But it looks like it's played out maybe better than anybody's expectations could have been so far.
Yeah, it has. You know, there's naturally some reservations when you're going from Jason Kelce, a guy who appears to be a Pro Football Hall of Famer, and the way that he's played, been able to go to the second level and be able to run out like 20 yards down the field to spring some blocks in the cachet he had around that locker room. And then, but the fact that he handpicked Jurgens, and you see the way that Jurgens is playing right now, it's like he actually knows what he's talking about. It's like you see that. You look at the way Jurgens has been able to help with the protections, the way he's been able to go second line. In fact, he's Pro Bowl caliber player now, and in my opinion, and you look at that one, top 3 or 4, and so for me, being all pro, that type of level guy, it's been a great fit. And the scary thing is he's young. He's only going to get better under Jeff Stoutland, the offensive line coach. So I think that when you look at that selection for where the Eagles got him, that he's turned out to be very, very good. And Eagles like to have another center that they can keep around for another 10, 12, who knows, 14 years.
Give us an idea of how, I mean, we sort of know by watching, but like give us an idea of how important that position is for that team, given some of the things they do, obviously, most notably, you know, the tush push. I think people thought when Kelce retired, they were like, well, is that it for that? And it has not been.
Yeah. I'll even start. Yeah, it's the tush push. Just the demanding nature of that play, because everybody thinks like, okay, let's just go and firing out straight into the defensive line. No, the way they do it, it's almost like you're having a 5-man bulldozer where they all get down at that angle. You're plowing some snow or what have you. They all get down at that angle and they push that way on the rugby style, and that takes a lot of physical toll. I mean, even left tackle Jordan Mailata was like, he hates the play, but he knows that it works out because it helps out. And the fact that you look at his toughness, we all know he's got that back injury he's dealing with that caused him not to start the game, but he finished it. The fact that they still ran that play, and he guys were diving on top of him. We all know Frankie was doing his best Ralph Wiggum impersonation going through a window. He was going through it that way, and he toughed it out, and still guys jumping on his back, and still was able to plow it in, and they were able to get touchdowns off of it. It's that play encapsulates not only his physical strength, but his toughness and his ability to do what needs to be done. And those characters, I mean, when you look at the center, I mean, not just that play, but some of those intricate pull plays that they have, and a lot of emphasis, a lot of pressure is put on those 3 guys in the interior line. And Cam Jurgens has just done has played above and beyond what was expected of him, and the Eagles got a good one.
You know, it's funny. Like a few years ago, and he's a recruit out of Beatrice, Nebraska, and Nebraska. He had been committed to Nebraska for a long time, but as a tight end, and then toward the end of his recruitment, Scott Frost takes over, and he identifies Cam Jurgens as a guy immediately he went out on a limb for him, and he was sort of known to do that from time to time when he really believed something. But Frost said, like, I think this guy could be a legit like NFL center. And then at first they put him in there, and you could see kind of what he's talking about, but the problem was he couldn't snap the ball. he couldn't get that straight. They snapped it over Adrian Martinez, the quarterback's head, like many, many times. And people are like, man, I just don't know if you're going to be able to pull this off. And they stuck to it. And, you know, it got better and better throughout his career, to the point where, like, when he got to the draft process, nobody was like, no, I don't think this guy could do it at the NFL level. I mean, it's been quite the rise from him over the last like 5, 6, 7 years here.
It's crazy. I mean, you can never tell, because as much of the shotgun and the pistol looks that the Eagles have used in order to help with their zone read game, you can never tell. Does he have the air snap here and there? Yeah, he does. But that's with any center, whatever, especially going against some of those big guys in the middle of the defensive line. But you could never tell. And he's gotten a lot better in terms of that. He's with him and Landon Dickerson, you feel comfortable enough that these guys can get snaps off in case they use it. Yeah, Scott Frost was right. And
he was.
Say what you will about his tenure there, but he was right about that.
No doubt. Chris Franklin, NJ.com, is with us talking about the Eagles and the Super Bowl here. Give us an idea of where you're at right now, or what you think of the conversation surrounding Jalen Hurts as he. I mean, it's been sort of up and down for him. And a couple of years ago, it feels like he's carrying him there, and now the narrative is that he's being carried there. Where do you stand on him and sort of the narrative around him going into the Super Bowl?
It seems like every year it just comes up with something new, like he can't do it, and he just says, he just proves that he can do it.
Yeah.
Beforehand, the narrative was he can't handle the blitz. Well, he may still holding the ball sometimes, but he's doing it not to throw it into tight windows or what have you. But he's handled the blitz. When you look at the numbers, he's one of the top quarterbacks, top 5, top 6 quarterbacks in the league in terms of throwing against the blitz. When you look at it, he can't throw the pocket. He's just a runner. He's had to do that as well too, because teams don't want him to do his own read, and he keeps pushing the ball down the field as well too. And then I think a lot of it has to come to where he was drafted. He was a second-round pick. You look at that draft class, and he wasn't the top guy with a 2-1. He was a second-round pick, and everybody was surprised. Like, wait, you're selecting him when you have Carson Wentz? Okay, that's kind of different. But I think a lot of people are still doing it. And I look at him, I still think he's one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the league. And the most important thing you want from a football team or anything, you want a winner.
Win.
And that's what he's done.
Yeah.
It's like, wait a minute. But around Philadelphia, it's like, wait, some Philadelphia and other parts of the country. Well, he doesn't throw this, he doesn't throw that. He just wins, and that's what I thought the goal of the game was. So it's crazy.
So he's, I believe this is up to date, 42-12 as a starter since 2022. Like, we would look at that for every other quarterback in the league and not even bat an eye and say, oh yeah, he's one of the top guys that we have right now. But people want to sort of look at all of the weapons around him, his defense, the roster, which undoubtedly, Chris, is really good, but it's funny how that's used as a detractor away from Hurts.
Yeah. And when we talk about Joe Montana, when you talk about Jim Kelly, you talk about all these great quarterbacks from the day, if they didn't have anybody, then they wouldn't have been able to play. I mean, you look at all these teams, like Patrick Mahomes, you look at some of those teams like early on. If you didn't have Travis Kelce, of course he's not going to be as great as he is or keep winning those games. He didn't have that. And especially the Montana aspect. I'm not saying that Jalen Hurts is Joe Montana, but if you didn't have John Taylor, Jerry Rice, Roger Craig, all those guys, where would the 49ers be? It's just something simple. And when you have so much talent, and that's a skill in itself with a quarterback, you have that much talent around there, you have to keep everybody happy, keep everybody on the same page. You just got to play like a point guard, just distribute the ball around so that everybody's happy, fed, and it helps continue to win. So I never understood that. I never understood that argument. Like, well, he's got good players. Good teams have good players.
Yep.
You need that.
I would imagine some of the confidence from this group, because it's one of the things you notice immediately. And they've won a lot of games, and that obviously is a factor here too. But I watch them in the way that they play, and it's not hard to see where they sort of get that confidence. They almost seem inevitable in a way. Could you speak a little bit to this group and how they feel about themselves? I mean, like, everyone knows they're one of the best teams in the league, so I'm not saying like everybody's saying that they're a huge underdog in this thing or anything like that. Like, it's a close spread, but they feel more confident in themselves maybe than the outside public feels about them. Would you say that that's accurate?
Yeah, it would. And I would say it starts in the market they play in too, the media market, because a lot of times it's one of the toughest ones to play in, and everybody keeps close eyes and keeps tabbing them, and sometimes they pick them apart. So that comes with it. But also, I look at this team, and they look more focused, especially with the way that last year ended, that collapse. They were 10-1. They looked like they were going back to the Super Bowl again. And then they fell apart, and we saw the change to Matt Patricia as defensive coordinator, or what have you. Then it just really fell apart, and it fell over a cliff. And this year, to a man, it looks like they're taking that, and they're using that message to say, like, hey, we're not letting this happen again. And that player core that they have has changed, because when you lose Jason Kelce, when you lose Fletcher Cox, you lose guys like that, you're like, okay, you got new leaders that need to step up. And they have seen that. I mean, you see Saquon Barkley's taking a leadership role, even though he's not a captain. He's taking a leadership role. You look at some of these other guys, Jalen Hurts is more vocal. And they're all taking the mixture of the veterans like Lane Johnson and Brandon Graham and the young guys like Hurd, Devontae Smith, and A.J. Brown. They're all coming together and keeping this team on a focus. And this thing's going to really fall apart after week 4. They got blown out by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But they rallied the troops around. They talked to Nick. The leadership council and Nick Sirianni have been really good, instrumental in that. And they kept this team focused on pace. And look at them. They rolled off 10 straight wins. And all of a sudden they find themselves in the Super Bowl again.
How much can you build a game plan around stopping Saquon Barkley, given that it has a low percentage chance of actually working, it seems?
Steve Spagnuolo, he's one of the great defensive coordinators. If he does that, he deserves to be in the mention for Hall of Fame, even as an assistant, because you look at his success both in Philadelphia and also with the Chiefs. And you look at it, it's tough because a lot of teams like the Commanders, I still understand why they use one single high safety and play man-to-man on the outside and decided to blitz and everything, because that's okay. If you want to blitz and try to do that, you got man coverage one-on-one with A.J. Brown on the outside. So if you keep going, you can't go too high because then you let Saquon go past that first wave of defenders. So I wouldn't be surprised if Spagnuolo does. We know he likes to blitz. If they run blitz early on second down. But the problem with that is you got to make sure you wrap up and contain him, which is almost inevitable. You know he's going to break one.
It almost
40, 50 yards.
Chris, it almost like plays into his strengths. Like I feel like the more guys you throw at him, the better chance he could slip out. That's counterintuitive to any running back ever, but it just feels like you're playing right into him when you send 6 guys at him from 6 different angles.
You better have a delayed blitz going, because if you throw everybody in, and we've seen him do it, you'll get him, stop him for 2, 1 yard, 3 yards, but you better have everybody just put in the gaps, because if one person over pursues, he's going to find it along with that line. They're going to open it up and exploit it, and then you're looking like, uh-oh, hope everybody's on a good pursuit and go running down the field in terms of that. It's so, just who'd have thought one guy, and it's a really good guy, or one player who's a really good player, he could change the whole entire aspect of an offense. And you look and you see that, because he just changed this offense in so many facets in the run game and the pass game.
I'm sure defensively, Philly feels like they like their matchup offensively against the Chiefs. Many teams have, but there's the X factor that you have to account for, and it's the guy making plays behind center. It seems like such a difficult math equation for me to square up, given that there's nothing really outlier in an outlier category offensively for Kansas City, but they have that guy and he's lurking. Like, how do you square that up, knowing that Philly is one of, if not the best defenses in the NFL?
Well, they're going to have to get out to a lead early, a big lead, a significant lead early on top of that. Not saying much because the Eagles got that lead back in 57, but I look at it's one of those things where you need to continue to Travis Kelce no matter what, and you need to make the Chiefs offense be patient. And what has me concerned a little bit is when you look at what the Commanders did, Zach Ertz, he had over 100 yards receiving in last week, and that was part of it. The Eagles were willing to give that up, and then they gave up the fewest yards to tight ends in the regular season. So it was like, okay, this is kind of off a little bit. Mm-hmm. But you need to make them patient, and you need to frustrate them. That's the biggest thing. That's what Vic Fangio's defense does. You'll see these weird looks like, okay, they're giving up 3 or 4. They're giving up 4, 5, 10 yards here or there. But when it comes to the red zone, that's when they tighten up and say, no, you're settling for field goals instead of 7. So I look at that and I'm like, okay, and then there's going to be all scheduled plays. It's a matter of can you rush with 4 and contain him inside the pocket in order to frustrate him and make sure he throws it away or overthrows it, what have you, because you can't give him 5, 6 seconds and allow him to start going around. Because if you do, you're in serious trouble. There's
just like you said, there's just an element with the way that they play that you just can't. Like, you can't really prepare for, right? Like, there's going to be they're going to get to the off schedule stuff, and the short yardage stuff is really important, I think, as well, because they use every trick in the book to get to the point where they're converting 3rd and 2s or short 4th downs and stuff like that as well. I guess, except for they don't do much QB sneak, they don't do much tush push, but they find ways to sort of get yards, and that's how I'd categorize them. There's nothing like outstanding about them, except for they have a great quarterback and a great tight end, and they just find ways. It almost is a really difficult way and a difficult thing to prepare for, more so than this like outstanding explosive offense that you're not going to be dealing with.
Yeah, it really is tough because it is plotting, and they're going to be around, and you need to be up by more than one possession late in the game because they're so well and they're so used to being in these tight situations. They're going to do whatever they can to win that game and be able to just say, you know what, we're not afraid. We've been here before. But yeah, it's pretty much like we're in a one possession game. Yeah, we got you left a minute 40 left. All right, cool, we can do this. It's that eerie calm that they have in those things, and you better rush them with 4. You better get home, because if not, you'll be looking frustrated and like, what's going on? And that's demoralizing too. You got a team in 3rd and 11. You think you got them. You let Holmes go outside the pocket. He throws it, picks up 15 yards, and now you're like, oh, here we go again.
Right.
So,
right.
Tough assignment.
All right, Chris, I'll let you go. We appreciate you doing this. Enjoy the game this weekend, and thanks for stopping by.
Hey, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
Chris Franklin, NJ.com, covers the Eagles and I think a couple other teams, the Giants and the Jets.
Oh, wow.
G-man. The Eagles and the Giants, huh? Interesting.
I-95 guy.
Well, there's a guy who played for both the teams over the last 2 years. Sure. It's been a bit of a storyline this year.
Some viral videos.
What was
decisions?
Yeah.
Made.
What was Saquon's comment on that? They were like, "Oh, Jameis." It was Jameis, right? Jameis went up and he goes, "Hey, Saquon? Who do you think I should sign with? Who do you think I should play for in free agency?" And he was like, "I think the Giants need you." Like, oh man,
got him.
Every day this must kill you. So let me ask you this question on the Super Bowl, Josh.
Okay.
Who is more likely to, which team, how do I phrase this? Which team is most likely to finish off a win if they are up by 2 touchdowns or more? Basically what I'm asking is, which team is more likely to just sit on you? Because I think both of these teams are very good at sitting on you.
I mean, it's got to be the
fat bastard style.
That's
get in my belly.
Eagles because of the ground game. And
They
the
have
O-line.
They have so many options, but once again, like the thing with the Chiefs is, like, it's more mental than anything. I don't want to face them in 3rd and 3. I don't want to face them in 3rd and anything because they put so much pressure on you. I feel like almost from a historical perspective, like they have that guy and he's going to do something crazy, or they're going to draw something up that I've never seen before. Or like, it's not, like I said to Chris, it's not the weapons per se. It's who they are,
Everyone in that
it's the
locker
jersey
room,
almost.
has that mentality of, oh, we're going to get this done. I don't know how. We'll get it done.
Yeah, we're going to find a way.
It's going to be hard. It might suck for the next hour or so, but we're going to get there.
Maybe we'll get a call from the ref.
Well, that always helps, right?
We can talk about that storyline when we come back because this week has been hijacked by that. The matchup is fascinating.
The matchup of the refs against the Eagles?
No, the other ones. The whole offense defense thing and the whole,
like Chris Jones versus the Eagles O-line?
Yeah. Cam Jurgens included.
Yeah. I guess if you want to talk about that.
Yeah, they're I like that. I like that angle.
Interesting.
But
a lot of people are talking about the refs.
A lot of people are talking about the refs. Too many people are talking about the refs, I'd say.
Too many.
Yes.
A bold take by you.
I don't even know if it's like, so the Super Bowl Media Day thing happens. We'll talk about this coming back. Like the Super Bowl Media Day thing happens, and that is an environment that is made for weirdos, right? Weirdos can go in and ask questions. Wait, what do you think about the refs? I'll never ask you a question again. In fact, you could escort me out of this thing and I don't even care. At least I got my question in.
Right.
Right. At least I got my headline. Hey, I asked Travis Kelce about the refs. Now that video is out there.
Do you think the mob is involved?
Right. Crap like that.
Yeah.
But that is a thing that has been perpetuated from the internet and to the point where Roger Goodell was talking about it yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Along with the fact that he ended racism.
It's over.
So it's hijacked the week completely. All right, we'll come back. Thanks to Chris for joining us. Super Week coverage is presented by Moose Roofing and OSI Oakland. Back after this on 1620 The Zone.
Super Week on 1620 The Zone is powered by Moose Roofing and OSI Oakland.
Nebraska basketball is good.
They're very good.
They're headed to Washington tonight.
They'll prove it tonight.
Washington dead last in the Big Ten in the following categories. Offensive efficiency. These are in-conference numbers. Offensive efficiency. Effective field goal percentage. 2-point field goal percentage. They are second to last in turnover rate. They are third to last in 3-point percentage. They are third to last in defensive effective field goal percentage.
You said a lot of things in there, but my takeaways were they're bad at 2s and 3s.
So there were a lot of stats, and they covered a lot of ground. Offense, defense, 2s, 3s, things like that. That covered a lot of it. This is the worst team in the conference.
Wow.
I don't think it's any sort of guarantee that Nebraska wins tonight, though. And that's not a slight on Nebraska. I just think it speaks to the margin for error that any team living life near the bubble has at this, just they do. Like, I mean, you guys know it. We talk about it all the time. Nebraska, they're Jekyll and Hyde. We don't know what's going to show up on a nightly basis. So Nebraska's like, they cannot afford to not bring it. And I would think and hope that a veteran team such as this, who dug themselves out of a hole recently, has the full and complete understanding of what can happen if you don't bring it. You would think. But you could say it. You could say it all you want. You got to do it. So I think this is a big, it's not only a big game for resume and all that stuff, but it's like hey, okay, show me, because it's going to be sleepy. It's 9:30 Central Time. I know you've been on the West Coast for a while now, but like it's body clock, weird body clock, whatever. Usually, by the way, that starts to catch up with you by like the third and fourth day in a different time zone.
Oh,
I mean, that's my experience with it anyway. But just show me. You could tell me that you're past this. You could tell me that you're better than this or whatever. Show me. It's a show me game.
A show me game.
Yeah, you like that? I called it a landmine game earlier.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a show me game.
Nebraska on the road. What are you going to get? 8-5. Washington is at home.
Okay. It's a stat.
It is a stat.
It's not very good.
It's not very good.
Okay. Familiar
but
faces.
It is a winning record.
Wilhelm Breidenbach. Our dear friend Wilhelm.
Did he get like a haircut and a shave yet?
No. He looks exactly the same, just wearing a Washington jersey instead of a Nebraska jersey. By the way, Washington is an Adidas school too, right? Are they going to wear those wonky jerseys that they're making everybody wear?
Oh.
God, I hope not. I hope they don't have a Adidas bad jersey off tonight. By the way, can you believe Nebraska, or not, this isn't Nebraska's fault. This is an Adidas thing. Can you believe that Adidas did this and Nebraska's first game in those horrendous uniforms just happened to be at Oregon, the primary Nike school, like the Nike school? Now, with that being said, Oregon tried to equal Nebraska with those horrendous jerseys. They had bad jerseys too. Oregon is capable of having good jerseys. I've seen them, but those ones with the ducks on them, the cartoon duck, bad.
Yeah,
those were bad. So maybe they threw a bone to Adidas in that category. I just hope they don't have a bad jersey off tonight. And I don't want to see Wilhelm Breidenbach wearing that uniform. I don't. It's tough on the eyes.
You gonna stay up late?
Yeah, I'm gonna watch. I mean, I'm like
this one out.
I'm an up at midnight guy anyway.
Yeah, midnight
is usually my target bedtime, so I think this will work in perfectly. I mean, we got basketball on from. We got two late windows. So we got 7:30, we got 9:30 tonight, back to back. Jays, Nebraska ball,
triple header on BTN tonight.
Well, we'll get to that and what to watch.
We will.
Another familiar face, potentially. Josh, I don't know if Rich King is in the Omaha Burke Hall of Fame, but he should be. His son.
A lot of people should be.
His son, Christian King, who probably won't play and hasn't played for the last few for Washington. Rich King's son plays for Washington. Christian King.
Really?
Yes. He's not quite as tall as Dad. Unfortunately for him.
Huh.
Rich was very tall. Christian King, a little less tall. Still tall for a normal human, not that tall for a basketball player. He was like 6'8".
I don't see
the resemblance.
No, I don't see.
If Rich King is in the Burke Hall of Fame,
I don't see him in.
Who is in the Burke Hall of Fame?
Rod Cush.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Rod Yates. By the way, you see what he's cooking now?
Oh, God, no. And how much is it going to cost me?
Nothing.
Oh.
But they're trying to continue to do stuff out there. I wish them good luck.
Out where?
Out there. Out there.
Okay.
There's a bunch of open fields. Just put some stuff there.
There are several open fields that he should just develop. I mean, you're
no,
a developer.
That's what he's trying to do. He's trying to he needs your support.
Oh. I support the idea of things
I have a
being
plan.
developed.
I just need money. As the great Dutch Vanderland would say.
Academy Award winner Mike Hill.
Okay.
Burke High Hall of Fame.
Bill Brasky. Oh, yeah. Bill Brasky wrote in probably as I was saying that thing about Rich King's kid. So there you go. Same deal. People know about this. I'm excited to see Nebraska in a new arena.
Barney Cotton, Burke High Hall of Fame.
Now, what about Andy writes in, he's in the Burke Sports Hall of Fame. Can you pull up the Burke Sports Hall of Fame?
Oh, I don't have that pulled up. I just have the Alumni Hall of Fame.
Yeah, you got to go to the Burke Sports Hall of Fame. A Hall of Fame that you are not showing any interest in being. You want to be in the regular Hall of Fame.
Right. I want the call from the hall.
I don't think you'd be qualified for the Sports Hall of Fame.
Not really. They'd probably have to loosen their standards, which I wouldn't ask them to do.
Did you play any sports?
No.
Okay. They would definitely have to loosen their standards then. If you were to get into the Sports Hall of Fame.
I won as many games as the football team did one year.
Oh, man. You're not going to get in the Hall of Fame saying stuff like that.
Hey, I calls them like I sees them.
Charles writes in.
Hi, Charles.
Which duck does Happer like better, Daffy or Donald?
Oh. I mean, Daffy was funnier.
Daffy had the weird voice, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, that stuff?
Yeah.
I like Daffy. Daffy's cool. Nick was showing us this whole family tree of the ducks a couple days ago. Do you remember this?
I remember him coming into work, sitting down.
Have you seen the duck family tree?
Have you seen the Donald Duck family tree?
I'm like, no. Well, actually,
to work.
To be fair, I did not know that Donald and Scrooge Mick were related.
Yeah.
Because you would think with the last name McDuck, that's not related to the guy with the last name Duck. It's not like, McDonald and Donald are related. No, they're different names.
Donald loves McDonald's, though.
That Donald does, yes.
I mean, so do I. So, I mean, I'm not like insulting anyone by saying that.
Josh, can I interest you in duck soup? Cracky asks on YouTube.
The movie?
Duck confit.
Oh, I love a confit.
Yeah, you don't. Yeah, okay. All right. What about a poutine?
Oh, no. Not a chance.
Oh, that's right. You probably hate gravy.
I do hate gravy.
Oh, my God.
I hate foods touching. I hate gravy.
Oh, my God.
Not nachos.
So weird.
Nachos.
Nachos.
Exception that proves the rule.
So it's not a principled stance. It's just what tastes good. Josh, let me tell you a little bit something about poutine. It is incredible. Just imagine French fries. Delicious, right?
Yes.
With lovely gravy.
Disgusting.
Dumped on top of it, some duck in there.
Quack, quack.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I want some poutine.
Poutine, hold the gravy, please.
That's just French fries.
Okay, so be it.
Drake writes in.
Hi, Drake.
Red Dead reference was not what I expected on the Happer show. What do you mean? I don't look like I played Red Dead Redemption with Dutch Vanderland and what was the main character's name on Red Dead 2? Arthur Morgan. He died.
Oh no.
Yep, sorry to spoil it, but he died of tuberculosis.
Spoilers for Red Dead Redemption 2.
It came out a few years ago now.
Yeah.
Aaron writes in.
Hi, Aaron.
It blows my mind that Josh's sarcastic "they are good" is somehow dead on, because it literally can be the truth of the words or the sarcasm of them not being good. It has weirdly become the truth. You sarcastically saying that they are good is the truth, because it both means that they are actually good and that you don't mean it.
Whatever it needs to be on that given day,
yes,
it is.
Yes. Amazing. Alex Lincoln writes in.
Hi, Alex.
What year did Josh graduate? Looking at nominating him.
03.
Don't do it for the Sports Hall of Fame. He has no backbone.
Yeah.
Do it for the regular Hall of Fame. Andy writes in about Red Dead.
Hi, Andy.
Arthur Morgan was a saint. I still haven't finished, so he can't die. Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to tell you that what's about, because it was pretty crushing. It is pretty crushing when Arthur died. It was pretty crushing.
Yeah.
You could tell, like, they were hinting at it throughout the entire game as you went through the thing. Like, after a while, he kind of started to get sick. He would have these weird, like, visions of these deer.
Oh.
It was almost like Harry Potter and the Horcruxes and stuff like. Yeah, it was like he would just, and there would be this deer, and then Dutch would be talking about going to Tahiti and stuff like that, and then all of a sudden Arthur Morgan, he's very sick.
The last time Creighton won at the arena formerly known as the Dunk.
Yes, 2018, December 31st.
Red Dead Redemption
2,
yes, was 2 months old.
I was probably ripping that thing. I was playing a lot of Red Dead Redemption the last time Creighton won at the Dunk.
Yeah, you were probably like, hurry this game up, stop shooting free throws. I need to chug a Mountain Dew and play Red Dead Redemption 2.
All right, Josh.
Connor?
Nebraska basketball plus Creighton basketball over under 1.5 wins this evening. I only said that to trigger Michael Severe, by the way, because I heard his rant about the 0.5 yesterday, which I agree with him on. 1.5.
Over.
2 wins? Bringing them both home?
Imagine losing to Washington.
Or Providence.
Well, I mean, it's not the same thing.
No, there's some shame in both.
Yes. But imagine losing to the worst team in a conference with 100 teams.
So you're saying Nebraska would never do this?
They would never.
What about Creighton? Don't tell me Creighton's incapable of losing this game. They could lose.
Yeah. I mean, 0 is a acceptable answer of wins tonight. If you're a Mavs fan.
You would take the under. If you believe that they were going to win 0 combined games.
I think they're going 2-0.
2 for 2. Jays and Skurs. And we all are happy tomorrow. And we all have big games this weekend.
Yeah, everybody's happy. Everybody's thrilled.
Does Nebraska and Creighton so Creighton plays Marquette on Saturday. Does Nebraska play Ohio State on Saturday?
They've been playing so many Sunday games lately.
No, it's Sunday. So Creighton Marquette on Saturday, then Ohio State, Nebraska on Sunday. Huge games here in our lovely state of Nebraska. Nebraska Iowa women on Monday of next week, by the way.
Don't want to get in the way of the Super Bowl. You gotta
It's the first time in a long time that Nebraska women haven't played on Super Bowl Sunday, and for that, I thank our Lord.
Yes.
Because then I got to get to cooking. We'll take a break. We'll have the polls. We'll tell you what to watch next on 1620 The Zone. All right, to the Polls at Happer Show on the J-Tech Construction Zone Twitter feed. Is there such thing as a half cold? 0.5 cold.
No, I don't think so.
I mean, yeah, I could see it. You got the sniffles and no other symptoms. It's like, ooh, I'm starting to get something. I got kind of a half cold right now.
It's coming.
But usually it's pretty black and white. Usually you're like, hey, I'm either sick or I'm healthy. I will say no, because that's what I want to happen. 53% say yes, there is such thing as a half cold.
You always just say, I'm not sick, and then boom, you're not sick.
Exactly. Is Rutgers Penn State?
No.
Different. 77% say no. Would you go through the work of stealing 100,000 eggs for $40,000?
We were told we were ridiculous for saying no.
I would not go through the work of doing that. It's not because I'm filthy rich.
Who would turn down 40,000 theoretical dollars?
You also have to go through the risk of trying to steal 100,000 eggs and making sure they don't break.
Yeah, they're very fragile.
81% say no, 80? Listeners of the show. Wow. Wonder if they're still in the Target parking lot listening. Do you want some stank on your cheese? Absolutely.
Yeah.
I want to feel it.
Really do.
67% say no.
Idiots.
They're all white. I want the most bland thing I could possibly find. That's what they're all saying.
I had a cheese sandwich at my desk for lunch today.
Those are the polls, Josh. What are we watching tonight?
We are watching college basketball. Creighton at Providence. Coverage begins with Blue Jay shoot around 6 o'clock here on 1620 The Zone.
Shout out to my boys, Austin and Joey.
That's right. The best friends forever. The two of the three amigos. 7 o'clock. John
back
takes
with them
you
one day.
Inside the arena. FS1 takes over the television portion at 7:30. Oregon at number 24, Michigan, 5:30 on BTN. Number 15, Mizzou at number 4, Tennessee, 6 o'clock on SEC Network. And Nebraska at Washington, the cellar dweller Huskies.
Okay.
9:30 on BTN. Seton Hall is at Creighton Women tonight, 6 o'clock on 1180.
Our dear friend Josh Peterson is. Wait a minute. Hold on.
It's a home Creighton game.
Hold on
for the women.
Me and Josh had a correspondence about this earlier.
Okay.
I forgot what he said.
Absolutely. Let's get the details right. If our guy's doing it, our guy's doing it.
It is.
Okay.
I think it is Josh.
I would assume so.
Yes.
Number 8, Ohio State at number 1, UCLA. Top 10 matchup in women's basketball. You can watch it on Peacock at 8:30.
Hell yeah.
NBA doubleheader on ESPN, Spurs and Hawks at 6, followed by the Suns and the Thunder at 8:30. Kevin Durant not playing tonight in Oklahoma City. Is he embarrassed that he no longer plays for the Thunder, or is he about to be traded? We don't know. Or is he legitimately injured? Third option.
Unlikely.
Just a 3-game slate in the NBA, but 2 of them are on TV tonight. Bruins Rangers at 6 on TNT, True TV, and Max, followed by Oilers Blackhawks at 8:30. At 8 o'clock on CBS tonight, the Super Bowl's greatest commercials. Nate Burleson and somebody from NCIS will rank their favorites in the funniest of all time countdown before revealing their top picks. And then Connor, tonight on Netflix, you can watch it right now because all the best movies come straight to Netflix on a Wednesday. Kinda Pregnant. Jealous of her friend's pregnancy, a woman, played by Amy Schumer, wears a fake baby bump and accidentally meets the man, Will Forte, of her dreams.
That may be the movie that I want to see the least in my life that I've ever heard of.
I watch a lot of movies. Boy, I don't want to watch that.
Thank you, Josh.
Thank you, Connor.
That's the show. If you miss anything, 1620thezone.com is where you can find it. The crossover is next.